better start talking.
I'm the king of the world!
Hello everybody, it's Joey from Kentucky.
Did you just come?
You better start talking.
Hey, chill. I want what you want, brother.
Oh, yeah? Wendy's bucket of nuggets and bucket of chili. So you can make a little chicken nugget cereal?
I can't believe you committed suicide. I cannot believe you committed suicide. How could you have done this? How could you have committed suicide?
I don't like to work without the master.
He was just lying there.
Did you just come?
Sometimes you can't see things that are too close to you. Ben in Beoning from 2018. Hey there, friends and family. This is Dan. I'm here at the Dan and Adam Are Afraid podcast. It is Sunday, February 1st, 2026. It is episode 86. Thanks for joining us on episode 86. I am joined here by my co-host, as always, Adam.
Okay, so these are just like, lay independent stuntmen.
Not really. Adam's gone. Adam's gone this week. He got hit by a train. We're instead joined by Joey from Kentucky.
Rest in pieces, Adam. It's nice to be on top. Nice to be number 2. And I'm coming for that number 1 spot, Dan.
No.
So we got virtual Adam, so it'll be like he never left.
Yeah.
Also, I do intend to send you a royalty bill since you have sampled me into the intro now. So,
Fuck off.
Anyway, it's episode 86, folks. I'm happy. I'm delighted. I'm enjoyed. What was the word? What was the expression? I'm delighted. I'm
delighted.
Empowered.
Well,
to be joined by Joey on this special episode of Dan and Adam Are Afraid. We're going to be talking about a South Korean movie this week, Joey. Why is that important to you?
I have quite a bit of history with South Korea, so I'm not an expert, but I think I can lend some insight to the culture, the people, the land itself, and probably not the movie too much, but we'll fake that.
That is one of the things I know about you. You lived in South Korea for like how many years?
Well, altogether it was about like 16, 17 months. I have been there 3 different times. The first time I went after college, the whole journey started in college because I met a couple Koreans and actually ended up dating one of the girls. But then one of the guys that I was friends with was like, you should come hang out. And they had told me about teaching English in Korea. So after I graduated college, like I guess it was 08 or 09. I forget which summer that was, because it might have been before I actually graduated. But we went, and I stayed with him and his family, and visited some of the other people that I had met in college there. So it was pretty neat, and I always had it in the back of my head that I would teach there. So in 2013, I did that, and I went to a city called Anyang, which is right outside of Seoul. It's Metro Seoul, so it's like 45 minutes from Itaewon, which is the big foreigner district there, and an hour from Gangnam, and all those places you've heard about if you've looked at going to South
Gangnam
Korea.
Style?
That's the place. Then I went back again to Busan in 2016 for a few months to teach before I came back to take care of some personal business. But yeah, so I've been around Koreans and Korean culture for quite a bit of years, and here I am.
And hopefully that'll lend some color and some context. I mean, we already give enough context for these fucking movies, but it'll add even more flavor to this beautiful Beoning definitive episode. But before we get into the Beoning, Joey, I wanted to talk about a couple trailers we just watched. First trailer we watched is Boots Riley's new film, I Love Boosters, which appears to be about people stealing high-end clothing to sell at a discount to the community. And you got the villain is Demi Moore, and she's in a blonde wig this time. What do you think about I Love Boosters, Joey?
I thought, geez, maybe I could even make a movie at this point, I guess, about anything I wanted to.
So you're not familiar with Boots Riley then, I assume, Joey?
Not really, I looked up, after we watched it, I looked up, his filmography, and I don't think I've seen anything by him, and that trailer did not convince me to do so.
Damn, son. You got to watch Sorry to Bother You, man. It's a great film. It's about unionizing and shit.
Okay, maybe.
He's just known for being, he's like an anti-capitalist. He's a musician. He was in some band. I don't know. But he's it's pretty cool. I love his movies. They're very colorful. In a sea of movies that are very boring looking, his movies are amazing looking. So I'm looking forward to checking that out. And then moving on, we got Faces of Death teaser trailer. What do you think about the Faces of Death remake trailer?
I don't know. It's one of those I might watch on Shudder at some point. It didn't really show a lot. I mean, if you know about Faces of Death history, and I'm not sure why you would remake it, because Faces of Death was thought to be real. I remember that was one of those movies I would walk around and turn my face away from the cover at the video store because I thought it was real.
They're selling real snuff at the video store.
Yeah, this is how is this possible? What is this? I mean, but back then you would see car crashes and shit like that on TV. They would show world's wildest police chases and stuff. So it was easy to make you think it was real. I mean, I didn't watch it when I was a kid because I was too scared. And I don't know what the point is about the remake. Is it just people dying, or is there a story, or?
I don't know. I know Charlie XCX is in it.
I also want to just note, I've been listening to Alison Krauss since I was a little boy.
Well, Charlie XCX is in it. Then God, we have to see it. Yeah.
Dude, I love Charlie XCX. It's so funny how out of step you are with the culture of this podcast, Joey.
I mean, I don't know what to tell you, buddy.
I don't know what to tell you. What did you do this week, man? How was your week?
It was fine. Work stuff. Watch the country nearly collapse. All that good things. By the time you're listening to this, we might be at war. We might not. We might have more tariffs. We might not. We might be shooting people. We might not.
It'll probably be worse.
So, how about yourself, Dan?
Good. I saw Send Help. What is it called? Send Help? I saw Send Help last night. Sam Raimi's new movie in 3D, 3 dimensions. And it was pretty good.
You should have went and saw Mercy. I heard that's fantastic.
Oh my God. I don't want to see it. Apparently that's also in 3D. Oh, I can't imagine if I burned $40 on Mercy. Whew.
I can't imagine burning $40 on any movie.
No. Yeah.
Yeah, I can't imagine doing that.
So how was Sam Raimi?
I did last night. It's pretty good. I don't know. People are giving it 4 stars and stuff. If I was still giving star ratings out, I'd be that's 3.5. It's fine. It's pretty good. The standout thing is obviously the Rachel McAdams performance, some of the sequences with the gore and the snot and the stuff flying in people's faces. But it was a good time. I mean, you could wait until it streams. You can see why they put it out in January. Fuck you, it's January.
Fuck off.
Yeah.
Are you aware of fuck you, it's January, Joey?
Well, it's technically February now.
Well, it was January yesterday, Joey.
Just drop it. Drop any movie you want to bomb so you can get right off on, I guess. That's the idea.
Yeah, it's what they drop movies like Dead Bodies they're trying to get rid of. All right, we got to dump these here. So you have all this shitty movies that come out this month. Was there anything good that came out this month?
Primate came out this month, I guess. I didn't see that, but people liked it, right?
Yeah, but people gave this 4 stars. That's probably 3 stars.
I mean, I don't know what else came out. I didn't really pay attention.
The Charlie XCX documentary technically came out, but only in Chicago, New York, and LA. So, not really.
Oh,
and I haven't seen it. This got Alexander Skarsgård. Have you seen the trailer for The Moment?
I have not.
Come on, man. Come on, dog. Did you watch The Burning at least this week?
Yes, I watched The Burning. Damn you!
Did you read Burning by Haruko Murakami? What is his name?
Haruki Murakami, you uncultured swine.
There you go.
Yes, I did.
There you go.
I also read Barn Burning by William Faulkner.
I thought about it, but was that like short?
Okay, so these are just like...
Is that like short?
It was short, yeah. I mean, really, there wasn't much to it besides like, we have a pretty angry father figure in The Burning, and we have the same in that, but they're relatively different. This like William Faulkner's is set back like way back in the day when you. So
yeah, I'm not familiar at all with Faulkner, so sorry, folks. You're not going to get William Faulkner info today. Last topic, Joey. This has to do with what you were just saying. Doomsday Clock was set 85 seconds to midnight, the closest it has ever been. You posted this week. You posted this in the Discord.
yeah, I mean, if you look at the little ceremony they have, it looks really surreal, like it should be in a movie, like about paranormal stuff or whatever else. It reminded me of like the Ghostbusters at the beginning when like Bill Murray's character is like hosting the psychic people or whatever, his paranormal show. Or was that Ray? Whoever hosted it. Anyway, it was just kind of, I don't know. It seemed very surreal.
What was that? Oh, shit. I think it was Indonesian. Do you remember that Indonesian horror movie that came out like a couple years ago about like the laughing like virus that made people like sexually assault people?
No, I don't.
You don't know what I'm talking about? Aren't you like Asian cinema guy?
I mean,
the way. Oh, what the fuck is it called? Oh my god!
the elixir, grave torture.
Syndrome.com. We have to go to vinegarsyndrome.com for me to look this up.
Pedagore.
Partner labels. They have 30,000 partner labels now, so hopefully I picked the right one. All right. Who's putting this out? I would have to imagine it's like Connie, but like, I don't know. It could be someone else. Who's the Asian labels, sub-labels? Do you know them? Do you know all of them?
No, I've Vinegar Syndrome.
Oh, it was probably Shudder, wasn't it? It was probably a Shudder. It was probably one of the first Shudder movies.
I mean, hold on.
The
I'll
Sadness.
go to their website.
Do you remember The Sadness?
Yeah,
Do you remember The Sadness, Joe?
I did not see that though. Yeah.
Okay. Oh, well, that would have been a really good point of view for what we were talking about. Because there's like these atomic scientists. There's a woman. She's got a very serious look on her face. Very bored look on her face.
Hold that thought. I'll be right back. Sorry.
Oh my God. All right, I'm gonna talk to Adam. So how you been doing this week, Adam?
No.
Oh, really? That bad, huh?
Yeah.
I'm sorry to hear that.
Fuck off.
Whoa. I'm just trying to be nice and help you.
I also want to just note, like, $624.
Really? That's how much you spent on groceries this week?
Adam Sandler's animated body is beautiful.
Oh, okay. Thanks for adding that to the conversation, Adam.
I was just like, ooh, this is rated R, and there's like, there's sexy stuff in it. No. Yeah. Fuck off. $624. But it does what this movie does good, which is like, oh, is this some Kurt Cobain shit? But it does what this movie does good, which is like, I was just like, ooh, this is rated R, and there's like, there's sexy stuff in it. Yeah.
Adam, what was your favorite part about this movie?
But it does what this movie does good, which is like, he like drop kicks Michael Myers out of a window.
Sick, dude. Well, I guess this is a good time to bring up our, the rating the podcast and stuff. Isn't that right, Adam?
Yeah.
Well, we'll say rate the podcast on Apple or Spotify, leave a review, share it with a friend, send it to your family. Hit the like button on YouTube, subscribe, drop a line, leave a comment, slam that notification bell, join the Discord, hang out and chat with us. Follow Dan's Night Out on Instagram and check out other links in our description. Dan and Adam rely on the kindness of listeners like you.
Yeah.
Taking the time out of your day to make a difference. And our bargain remains. If you leave a review, we will read it live on the show. Live on air. Thank you. Now on to the program.
Adam Sandler's animated body is beautiful.
Boop, 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 boop. We're back. Hey, Joey. How you doing, bud?
Hanging in there.
He like drop kicks Michael Myers out of a window.
So we talked about we're talking about a movie. We watched a movie this week, Joey. Is that right?
We did watch a movie. We watched a couple movies, but this one in particular, we did watch hard, both together.
Well, I only watched one movie this week. We'll get into that. Well, I guess I watched 2 movies this week. We'll get into it. Yeah, we watched Beoning from 2018.
Coming soon to a theater near you.
저한텐 세상이 수수께끼 같아요.
나 모르겠어? 우리 어릴 때 같은 동네 살았잖아. 내 부탁 하나만 들어줄래?
벤이라고 합니다. 어떻게 하면 젊은 나이에 저렇게 살 수 있지?
젊은 나이라도 돈이 많나 보지.
위대한 게 집이네.
재밌네. 애만 있으면 나 뭐든지 해. 희열을 느끼는 거죠. 여기서 베이스가 느껴져. 뼛속까지 울리는 베이스.
저 사람이 널 만나는 것 같아.
난 가끔 비닐하우스를 태워요. 들판에 버려진 낡은 비닐하우스 하나를 골라 태우는 거예요. 마치 처음부터 존재하지 않았던 것처럼 사라지게 할 수 있어요. 거기에 옳고 그런 건 없어요. 자연의 도둑만 있지.
Beoning is a 2018 South Korean psychological thriller film co-written, produced, and directed by Lee Chang-dong. Thanks for joining us on episode 86, everybody. Rate and review the show. We already did that, but I'll say it again. Joey, go ahead and read me that IMDb plot description.
Sure. Jong-su bumps into a girl who used to live in the same neighborhood, who asks him to look after her cat while she's on a trip to Africa. When back, she introduces Ben, a mysterious guy she met there, who confesses his secret hobby.
Now tell the truth. The truth is all in your head. What do you think about those taglines?
Well, the truth is all in your head is a very good one. This is an enigma of a movie, to say the least. There's so many ways that you can view it, and I think that's what makes it pretty fun and pretty good for rewatches as well. This being my second time I've watched it.
I guess that's a good place to start, if any. Joey, why'd you pick this movie? Why'd you bring this one to the podcast? Like Lily Shushu, why does this one deserve the Dan and Adam treatment?
Well, I thought this was just going to be a good pick overall because the cinematography in this is really good. I think you would probably agree to that. Pretty big spoiler there. There's some really great shots. Some shots that I think could even be in contention for, like, shot of the year or the decade or whatever else. Just very iconic stuff. And it also is very Lynchian in places sometimes. If that makes sense. I thought so.
It's surreal. Like the origins of this story. I guess we'll mention now. Were the story by we got into it a little bit earlier. My notes are all off now, but based on Barn Burning by Haruki Murakami, Also, this is your note. Also, there is Barn Burning by William Faulkner. I just learned this morning, but doesn't have much impact on the movie besides the fact that the father in the Faulkner short story is a very angry man, which leads to his demise. So yeah, Barn Burning. I read that, and I guess with the Burning movie, I had wanted to see this years ago. Years ago, I had wanted to see this movie. I downloaded it probably in 2020, maybe 2019. And I couldn't find English subtitles for it. So I just had a copy that I couldn't fucking understand, so I never watched it until now. So I knew about this movie, and I was happy that you wanted to watch it, because I've been wanting to see it for a long time. That poster with the dreamy poster with the woman with her hands outreached. I mean, I guess that you don't know who it is or any context when you see that poster, but it was striking. And yeah, it's a good one to bring to us. I guess the reason I was bringing up Murakami is his like style is known to be like dreamy, surreal, ambiguous, and you get that sense in the Barn Burning short story, where I wasn't even expecting it to end where it did. I guess we can get into that later, but yeah, it's surreal. I agree with you, Joey. The cinematography and the style here, it's the basis of it is kind of surreal. Now, Lee Chang-dong, are you a big fan of Lee Chang-dong, Joey?
Last year, I watched, let's see, this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of his movies. He only has, I guess, 6 total ones. The only one I haven't seen is Oasis. And yeah, I think they're all really good. I think Vinegar Syndrome actually did put out a box set, which I should have probably got it halfway, of 4 of his films, and that's probably the best set they have, I would say, as far as an artistic filmmaker, cohesive stories, good, because there is a lot of slop on Vinegar Syndrome, let's be real. But Peppermint Candy, Secret Sunshine, and Poetry, I think I wrote a review for Poetry, and like the only word on there was pain. It is a depressing fucking movie, but it's very good.
Yeah, I was looking at what was on there. So the Blu-ray right now, it costs $42.99 plus shipping and tax. But you do get Oasis, Peppermint Candy, Poetry, and Green Fish. Kind of out of order there. Let's start there. Lee Chang-dong. He has directed... I guess let's start with his bio here. Lee Chang-dong was already an established novelist by 1993, before entering film production around the age of 38. That made me feel good, because I was like, I'm 30. I'm barely turned 30, 32, 31. I don't know how old I am anymore. He was approached by Park Kwang-soo to write the screenplay for a movie called To the Starry Island. It was a drama hailed for having a bold and shocking climax. I took note of that. Lee was able to negotiate a position as an assistant director as part of that deal, and he later wrote a screenplay for A Single Spark from 1995. That film won Best Film at the 1995 Blue Dragon Film Awards, which I read was a South Korean award ceremony that's held annually. After being encouraged by his contemporaries from there, he stepped up to the director's chair with his first feature film, Greenfish, in 1997. And the story goes from there. So you've seen Greenfish, Joey. You've seen Peppermint Candy. You've seen Secret Sunshine. You've seen Poetry. And now, obviously you've seen Burning. Mm-hmm. Are you looking forward to Possible Love from this year?
Oh, yeah. Like if it actually comes out in the theater around here or anywhere, I'll go see it. If not, I'll as soon as it's available to watch, I'll be watching it.
Yeah, we'll talk about availability of The Burning. Possible Love is currently in post-production. It is following the intertwined lives of 2 married couples leading completely opposite lives. As the worlds collide, fractures begin to appear in their daily existence. I don't know much about it. I didn't look that much into it. I don't like looking into movies that much, but this is your little shot in the dark in the movie.
Yeah, well,
so he's we got a nice picture of him.
All his movies, like obviously this one is he was asked to do this based on the Murakami short story, but all his other original work is full of people going through terrible things, terrible tragedies. So I don't expect anything less from the upcoming movie, and I expect it to be really sad and really good with good shots and painful experience.
Yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to it, having seen Beoning now. I mean, I want to see all these other ones too. I mean, we'll get there. I guess we can talk about. Well, no, let's leave the cast until the last. We're gonna go into, I guess, written by. It was written by. I'm gonna get all these names really wrong, Joey. Do you know how to say any of these names? Do you know how to say Oh Jung-mi? Is that it?
Oh Jung-mi.
Oh Jung-mi, she, her, so it's a woman. This was co-written by a woman and Lee Chang-dong. She's also helping co-write Possible Love, the new movie. So that's good news. Could be as good as The Beoning. Cinematography was by Hong Kyung-po. So sorry. Interesting to note, the cinematographer for this movie also did Save the Green Planet, Joey. You know what that is, right?
Yeah, I do. I haven't seen that one. That's one I've meant to see. It's what was that the influence for? I know that had a
Bugonia.
There we go. I couldn't remember exactly.
Yeah, so that's why I really want. I saw that note and I was like, oh shit! Now I really want to see Save the Green Planet. Also, something called Mother. I think who is in Mother? Oh, I don't want to be racist. Mother, 2009.
Oh, okay, that Mother. Yes, that's a good movie too.
I don't know anyone in Mother actually, so
Bong Joon-ho was the guy who directed and wrote it. Which Bong Joon-ho has tons of amazing movies. I mean, like
Snowpiercer,
Memories of Murder, The Host, Mother, Parasite. Yeah, those are pretty much classics of Korean cinema, modern cinema anyway. I guess you'd say.
Let's take a stop here. How do you feel about Parasite getting all the praise and no one knowing what the fuck Beoning is?
I mean, Parasite's a lot more accessible. Let's be real. You know, Beoning is slow. Steven Yeun obviously would help the star power there, but you kind of have to think and you have to accept that some things may or may not be real, and then consider if that matters or not. And a lot of people don't like that. Even I don't at times. Not the case here at the Beoning, not the Beoning, different movie. But you have to really kind of have an open mind to this kind of thing. It's not an everyday person movie. A lot of people are just gonna be bored by it probably if you don't like to think.
Yeah,
I don't know.
It's like I didn't realize it was like 2.5 hours or something. Yeah,
it didn't really feel like 2.5 hours when you watch it though.
No, I didn't think so. But point out, cinematography, Hong Kyung-po, really good. Shout out, I'd hire you. Edited by Kim Hyeon. I'm so sorry. It's a guy. He edited all their Lee Chang-dong. Jesus Christ. Lee Chang-dong.
I'm letting you go.
He edited all other Lee Chang-dong films not listed on the upcoming Possible Love, though. So he's really old. I'll say that. I think he's like in his 70s or 80s. He might just be done doing movies. That's understandable. Also edited by Kim Do-won. Don't know much about you, Kim. Music composed by Maug. You ever heard of Maug?
I have not.
Did you notice the score to this movie, Joey?
No, not really. I mean, like, there are times I thought when I was going back, it's like, was there music? I mean, obviously there was, but it's like, I don't know. Sometimes I'm in and out. Sometimes I feel like if you don't notice the music, that's really good. You've done a good job. Other times, like, you know, you take something like a Star Wars or a Jaws, John Williams type shit, and they have themes. Of course, a little bit different style of a movie there. You know, if epic stuff, the themes make sense. Something like this, just to be in the background, makes sense.
I'm going to be honest with you. I don't really recall the score, but I think people say it's kind of like jazzy, which makes me seem crazy. I'm like, it's because I didn't listen with headphones this time. I listened to it on like a sound bar. But I did notice some of the songs in the movie, like this one. I'm talking over it, so it's transformative. Yo, I'm transforming this song. Yo, I love that song. Touch my body. Like, that's really fun. And I love the opening. I just love how colorful this movie. You know, we're talking about cinematography. I love how colorful this movie is. You know what I mean? Like, it does have the muted tones, but like everyone's wearing like pink and turquoise. Like the costuming is really good in this movie, especially in the opening scene where I guess it's supposed to be eye catching.
Yeah.
But Maug, anyway, back to Maug. Oh, you go ahead. Sorry.
Well, I was going to say, like, they would have been recording this probably about the same time, I guess, that I was in Busan. And
oh, wow.
Korea is very colorful. I mean, you know, Korea, well, a lot of East Asia, you know, has all the neon going on and stuff, but especially like Korea and Japan. You know, they are obviously different countries, and if you said they were about the same, people from each one would want to kill you. But they share a lot of similarities, you know, and it's like there's a Brooks and Dunn country song from back in the day. Adam would know this one, Neon Moon.
Yeah,
you know, talking about the neon lights of a bar. But there's neon everywhere on the streets. It's always so colorful. I mean, even like when you're going and you see like the very beginning, they're doing the two pretty girls, short skirts, pink, white, loud speakers, handing out stuff, doing a contest to draw attention to a business. You know, that was a very common thing, especially like, you know, Koreans have their stuff based around subway stations because that's obviously, you know, a hub where you get to and from. Transit's really good. So you always have like these wild things going on. And it's as a foreigner from a small town, it's just, there's always like something to like, wow, this would never, we'd never have this at home.
Yeah. It's completely different from what I'm used to, probably. I don't travel. I'm very American, so I wish I could travel. One day. Make it happen. Send me on a trip. Send Dan on a trip.
Let's send Dan to Santa Fe.
So Maug, he adopted the name Maug after his peers in New York nicknamed him due to his resemblance to Mowgli from the Jungle Book. Okay, so Maug by like Mowgli.
Moog, I guess. Maybe?
Mowgli? There you go. Yeah, Moog. Yeah, that's probably right. He is known for his frequent collaborations with director Kim Ji-woon. Do you know Kim Ji-woon?
I know I Saw the Devil.
That's his big one, yeah.
Yeah, that was a very big one. There was like some of my Korean friends, that was like their first foray into anything kind of graphic, I guess.
So it's like a big horror film in Korea?
Yeah, I think of it, I don't know, this is probably not the right way, but you can think of it like the same impact that like Saw had when it first came out type thing, you know?
Oh, okay. I would love to see it. We need to kickstart the horror sister show for this, and we could just talk about random horror movies. Also, I just noted Holy Night Demon Hunters because I had to find that for a friend. And yeah, I don't know. Korean cinema is so weird to me.
There's a lot of variation, man.
It all looks the same. Like, it all is shot very similar. All the posters kind of look the same. But like, yeah, I'd like to get into it. I will say I did not get to watch Place in the Kinky Region. I watched like 15 minutes and I was like, I just got to spend time on The Burning this morning, so I'm ready.
Well, it's a good thing because that's a Japanese movie anyway, but you know.
Well, I'm just saying, like, Japanese cinema is the same thing. Like, it's the same, like, where I'm like, it's so weird to me. Like, that movie I was getting really into, though, especially the found footage stuff. We'll get into it. We'll get into some more.
That deserves its own episode one day.
Yeah, we'll get into more of what is his name? What's the director?
Koji Shiraishi, I think. Shiraishi.
Yeah, there you go. He's great. Yeah, I was enjoying it.
Hold on, one thing. When I'm talking,
you go ahead.
I can hear myself echo back on your side. It's not recording or anything on mine. I don't know if it's recording twice if I'm recording on yours or not. Can you see if my voice shows up on your thing at all?
It definitely is, but it's fine. It'll be gated out.
Okay. I just wanted to, because I just noticed that, so I didn't want to, have you going through chopping me off.
It happens every week.
Didn't even notice till this time. Okay.
It's inherent.
Okay.
Also, you're talking more this week. It's just me and you.
Yeah. Produced by Ok Kwang-hee, Wang Soo-jin. Don't know who they are, but those are Korean names.
Yeah. I tried to look them up too, and it's the same problem I had where I just looked it up. It was just like, I don't know what any of these movies are. I guess they could be good movies, but yeah, produced by a couple people. Production companies Pine House Film. They also did Secret Sunshine, Poetry, Possible Love. It's pretty common for like the director himself to be involved with the production company, because I know Lee Chang-dong is a producer himself and he's produced many of these films. So I'm wondering if Pine House Film is probably one of his production companies or a company he's involved with. You also have Now Film. They're doing Now Possible Love. NHK is just like, these are just giant like Korean mega distributors.
Well, NHK
owns the rights to many of. You know about them?
NHK is Japanese. It's the national whatever media, but it's like they're NBC of Japan. Like they have the NHK is like the state. I guess it's more like PBS, but like it's different there, you know. But it's like the state owned thing that has been around forever. It even used to be that you used to pay like an NHK tax if you had a TV set in Japan. That's an interesting little video if you can look that up. But yeah, NHK is like, say, it's everything all rolled into one. Their main television station there.
That makes sense that they own Murakami's works then, because he's Japanese. Okay. They produced it's just some interesting titles. There's a movie called Osama, and I was like, dude, we need to watch Osama on this fucking podcast. They also did Planet Earth, Earwig and the Witch, some big ones that are kind of like international. There's also Fine Cut. They had helped with I Saw the Devil. You know, don't know much about these guys, but wanted to mention them. Distribution in South Korea by CVG Art House. In America, it was Wellgo USA Entertainment. Have you seen that bumper very often, Joey? Wellgo USA Entertainment?
No, I haven't, but I've seen CGV's bumpers and stuff really often in South Korea. They're a major distributor.
Okay, cool. I know Wellgo did Train to Busan here. They did a bunch of Asian stuff, but I remember Brandon Cronenberg being Wellgo. I've never seen CVG Art House.
Yeah, CVG. What's the other big one? Showbox, I think, was big. Showbox, you know, they had their own little bumpers and stuff that you see around. But yeah, like with all the Korean stuff, like we have it here in English, and it's actually harder for me to pronounce it in English. If I had it in the Korean script, I could definitely tell you exactly how to say it for the most part. Because Korean's very easy to read. You can learn it one day, folks. It's not stupid like English, where it has 6 different languages influencing it. Mm-hmm. It's phonetic. It's easy. Makes sense, which is one of the few things that Korea... Not few things, excuse me. One of the things that Korea is better at than us. Phonetic language. Anyway, go ahead.
This was shot on an ARRI Alexa XT Plus with Zeiss Master Prime lenses. We've run into Zeiss Master lenses before, maybe on Holy Motors or something. But shot on an ARRI Alexa, very common camera for a period of time. Same camera that shot John Wick Chapter 2, a movie I recently talked about on the podcast. Swiss Army Man, Game Night, Star Wars Episode 8, The Last Jedi, and Moonlight from 2016, the Oscar winner. It is a very digital movie, and it's of its time. All these movies are around like 2017, 2018. I think the most recent one I saw was maybe 2020. So this camera is of its time. It's not super in use anymore.
Yeah, we can own a used one for like $13,000 on eBay, I'm looking at.
Yeah, something. We could probably rent one for pretty cheap, yeah. Mastered via 4K digital intermediate, obviously, and struck to D Cinema and DCP for theatrical screenings. You know, digital movie in a digital world. Did the digital nature of this movie bother you at all, Joey?
Not really. I mean, for being a digital movie, it feels very warm to me. You know, yeah. I think that's due to there is a lot of outside shots. In Korea itself is a tale of two worlds. Like there are parts in this movie where you see where shit's really run down. It looks old. It looks like those buildings were built in the late 70s and early 80s, and smog has affected them and things. And then there's the bright new stuff. You know, in the city centers, and like when we go to Ben's apartment, which is a fucking amazing apartment, you know.
Yeah, he's like Uptown Seoul or something.
Yeah, and I forget where he actually was on that, but he in Seoul for sure. And you have that contrast in here, and they shoot it really well. I think he does a great job of that in all his movies, of showing, you know, social levels, showing in some things you may or may not pick up, like when they go to church at one point in here, which is, I've got some notes on religion in Korea that I put in the doc. But does a great job, I think, of that. Like, because usually to me, like, I don't, whenever I see not whenever I see, because everything's digital, but, when you see a movie on film, like, God damn, I wish stuff still looked this cool or good to me, And this is one of those movies where I don't think like that. I go, oh, this is beautiful, great shot, Doesn't feel sterile.
Yeah. When I was watching it, I thought at one point I was like, can I see grain? Because I couldn't tell, and that's a sign of a good like digital cinematography. Good everything is I can't tell if it's digital or film, and my brain doesn't care.
Yeah, it doesn't
Shooting
look like
dates.
Hollywood fucking movies do now, So.
No. I mean, it looks way better than Hollywood movies. Like, imagine going to see Mercy.
Yeah.
Shooting date, September 11th, 2017 to January 30th, 2018. This was shot over 4 months. Pretty common. I mean, it's a little long, actually. 4 months is a lot of time. We'll get into maybe why. There's a lot of interesting thoughts or things about the scenes. Now, filming locations, it was shot in, you could just say Paju. I don't know, Tanian, Myeon, Paju, South Korea. But Paju, that's one of the locations in the movie where our character... I actually don't even know what his character's name is at this point.
Taehyunmyeon Paju.
Lee something?
Jong-su? Who are you talking about?
Let's see. Yeah. Yeonju. Wait, no, that's the second girlfriend. What the hell? No, Lee Jong-seo. Jong-su? There you go.
Yeah.
Okay. Jong-su. What the fuck were we even saying? Okay, so he moves there. He lives in Paju.
Yeah.
Jong-soo moves to Paju, and then you have Ben, who lives in Seoul, uptown Seoul, and I guess Hae-mi lives in Seoul as well, in a really small apartment. You get the Parasite vibes big time.
Yeah, she was from the same area. I guess, yeah, like, if you look at the map of South Korea is the size of Indiana, by the way, everybody. So, you think the size of Indiana, if you're in Indianapolis, which is like the middle of Indiana pretty much too, that's where Seoul is, okay? And like, your other big city is Busan, which is the coast. So think, where Louisville, Kentucky would be to Indianapolis. I'm sure everybody knows Kentucky and Indiana geography listening in as well,
Oh, sure. Yeah.
But it would be like the equivalent of going from like Indianapolis to like the northern part of Indiana. It's far away. Paju is like they call it a province, I guess, on the border of North Korea. I've been to Paju for the JSA DMZ tour. I actually got to step in North Korea, technically.
What is it called? Joint Strategic Area?
Joint Security Area, which is also the name of a very popular movie from Korea, which if you're a Korean file, it's probably a good one to watch. But yeah, that's where Panmunjom is. The little blue buildings you see with the guards are facing each other constantly every day. That's pretty.
Is that still happening? Is that still a thing?
Oh yeah.
Okay. I like that you included my map. I should do that more often. That's pretty cool. Because you can see right there that Paju is like literally right there on the border to North Korea.
Yeah, when you go down to that
and we'll get
second
into
map,
some stuff about that. Yeah.
Right.
Oh, there's a second map. Okay. So how do you know how long the drive is from? How long is the drive from Paju to Seoul?
The drive, it's really hard to remember because when I went on that tour, it was like 13 years ago almost, maybe 12 years ago. I forget when I went. I went with a buddy from Baltimore. That's how you say that word, Baltimore. Shout out to James. And I feel like it was an hour and a half to 2 hours bus ride, but you're on a bus, you're kind of stopping at places. There is a train station or a subway station connection in Paju, which so I'd reckon if you're in the middle of going to where they are, probably an hour or so at least. But the subway system is really good in Korea, so it could be longer than that. I'm not sure.
I'm just wondering because in this movie he goes to try to get like a job or something. And like they're tearing a guy up before they get to him. They're like, "Hey, how are you going to commute here? You live like 2 hours away." I was like, "How far does he have to drive to get to this job?"
Well, he'd probably be taking the subway. I mean, he drives in this, so maybe he would drive. But, you know.
Yeah, his little clunker.
Yeah, I'm reading, like, if you drive, it takes around 30 minutes or so, I guess. So, like, it can be deceiving. It's like, where in Seoul, right? Because it's like, well, if you can go to LA, well, going to Van Nuys versus, I don't know, the southern part or whatever else of LA, you know, how long does it take to drive across LA? 2 hours, 2 years, 6 months?
How many people are in South Korea? South Korean population 51 million.
Yeah, and about 25 of those are within an hour of Seoul. And when I say Seoul, I mean the city center. Yeah, like where I said like before, I lived in Anyang, which is southwest, and there's around 1 million people there. And like sometimes I'd go to Seoul and like, you know, people would strike up a conversation with you. One of the bigger differences between Korea and Japan, Koreans are a lot more talkative and friendly as far as to strangers. And so they're like, I live in Anyang. Like, where's that? You know, like they'd have no idea. And it's like a satellite city of 1 million people, like just 45 minutes away. And like, where? You know, and where I lived in Busan, I lived on the beach near a big beach called Gwangali in Haeundae, which had like more dense population than New York City, you know, and that was less populated than Seoul. So.
Yeah, I was wondering because like the traffic also gets you. The traffic's going to get you in rush hour.
Yeah, I would never drive. I mean, most people, like, the congestion isn't as bad as what you would picture it be because so many people use buses and subways. And, like, anywhere you have an apartment building, there's going to be a bus stop within, you know, a couple hundred feet of the door. And that bus is going to take you directly to a subway station. So, I mean, the ease of getting around is wonderful. I mean, you know, some places you might have to wait, you know, 15 minutes for a bus. Oh, my God. But it's just timing your shit because everything's on time.
Yeah, it'd be nice. Like I'm dealing with car issues right now. And I'm just like, it'd be so nice if I just be like, oh, I just don't have a car anymore. I don't give a fuck.
Yeah,
it'd be nice.
I mean, if we had anything resembling that to where I could live that life here, like what would that save me a year? I mean, what's my insurance? My insurance isn't actually too bad, but I mean, it would save me somewhere around $6,000, $7,000, $8,000, $9,000 a year between, you know, insurance, gas, car payment. Like it'd be like getting a huge raise at work, you know.
Yeah, we just talked about Lily, and in Japan, they know how to commute too. America does not.
Yeah.
Now, aspect ratio. This was shot. Actually, no, Joey, go ahead and read me that big, beautiful aspect ratio.
Wait, where's this? I see it. Oh, I see it. I don't even know how. It's CinemaScope. I can say that word. 235 by 1. What is
235? 235:1. CinemaScope makes a movie, baby. This is where you have big black bars at the top and bottom of the screen. So it's a super wide image.
It's the image when you were a kid and saw it on your CRT that you thought you were getting cheated.
To me, the thing on the show is like most movies are shot in like, fuck. I have a whole document, but most movies are shot in 155 or 185:1, which is just like full. Like if you have, you know, a widescreen computer monitor, it fills up the whole screen. No black bars anywhere. It's just full screen. Most movies are shot in that, it seems like. And then when you have people doing like 235:1, you're talking about Dogtooth, Demon Lover, this movie. I Stand Alone has an even wider aspect ratio from Gaspar Noé. But most movies are, you know, they use the whole screen. They don't want to be artsy and try to frame a shot differently. And that's the whole thing. Like shooting with a wide aspect ratio forces you to frame different shots or shots differently. Definitely not necessarily shot for TikTok.
Oh, well, then why are we even watching it?
Yeah, honestly.
It's like I watched
runtime.
I did get TikTok. Okay. I got conned in getting TikTok, which I don't really look at very much. But you know, I'll get something up for like Arc Raiders, whatever else, and like you don't. It's like it's cut off so bad, like it's just focused on like 60% of the screen. And it's just like, how do you all deal with this all the time?
Then you got like ads, and you got Subway Surfers. And
yeah, it's like grandma just like hit zoom 3 times on the TV remote, and you're losing all the picture.
I don't know. My brain is. I'm old school, Joey.
Old soul.
Runtime to this movie is 2 hours and 28 minutes, like we were saying earlier. That's the theatrical cut, hour and 48 minutes. There is a Japanese TV cut that was cut by a lot. It was cut by like an hour. It's only an hour and 35 minutes, 95 minutes. Likely it was heavily edited to fit a 2-hour time slot, including cuts to pacing and content. They may have sped the playback up slightly. So they definitely cut all the sex stuff out. Jong-su, I hope his name's Jong-su, him jerking off over the bed, like all that stuff is just cut. So I don't know. I would love to see the Japanese TV cut. Send it over to us. Release date. So this was released on May 16, 2018. It had its world premiere at the Cannes Film Festival on a Wednesday. In the press kit for the Cannes Film Festival, the film was described as a dance that seeks the meaning of life by co-screenwriter Oh Jung-mi. On May 17, 2018, the next day, it had its wide release, general release in South Korea on a Thursday. And then for some reason, October 26, 2018 is incorrectly attributed to this movie releasing in the U.S. It's not true, folks, even though it's listed everywhere. That's for the Sao Paulo International Film Festival, unless I'm wrong, unless everything's wrong. But it seems to have been misfiled there. This movie actually had its wide release, or very limited release here, November 9th, 2018 on a Friday. Joey, what were you doing November 9th, 2018? You were in Korea?
No, I was back here. Let's see, November 9th, 2018, I probably would have been wondering if I should jump out of the window at my collections job at the time.
Yeah. I was not doing much better. I think I hadn't gotten fired from my job I was at the time. I was still doing that, so I was absolutely miserable. But I hadn't gotten into movies yet either. I don't know what I was doing. It's so strange to think about periods of your life where you're just like, I have no clue what I was doing. I didn't do any hobbies. Like, what was I watching? Anyway, November 9, 2018. Notable competition for this movie would have been like The Grinch animated remake, Overlord, The Girl in the Spider's Web, Last Letter. Maybe we would have slotted in The Burning here around number 70 of the month. But you had El Angel, Chef Flynn, Here and Now, River Runs Red, Postcards from London, In Searching, The Long Dumb Road, and something called Weightless. But obviously, The Grinch was taking over for the holiday season. Other notable competition that month was Bohemian Rhapsody. You seen that one, Joey?
No, I kind of wanted to see it, but what is that noise?
There's a mower next to me.
Oh, I was like, what the fuck? Am I going crazy?
That's why I threw the question to you.
So, Bohemian Rhapsody. No, I didn't see it. The guy, what's the fellow's name?
Rami Malek?
Yeah, I like him a lot. He was really good in The Pacific, which I know me and Adam have talked about. That would be, well, that's a lot to ask because you would want to watch Band of Brothers.
Yeah.
He was fantastic in that. Thank you, Adam. And I want to see it because, like, I liked Queen, but once I heard it wasn't really that great of a biopic. It was just thrown together and tied up like most stuff is. I was like, fuck it, I don't care.
It's like known to be like the dumb bio. It's like sincere Walk Hard.
Yeah.
It's tough to do a music biopic. They did the Bruce Springsteen one. They did the Bob one, the Bob Dylan one with Timothy Chalamet.
Yeah,
I don't know.
care.
They just all look like trash to me. Like, who gives a shit? Stop doing this.
Yeah, I don't care. I can pull up a YouTube documentary if I want to know about their life. I don't need to see someone pretend to sing like them.
Bro, they're doing the Michael Jackson one, and I'm just like, he was a monster. Anyway.
We don't need that.
Fantastic Beasts, The Crimes of Grindelwald. I love how they just stop making those movies. You just never know what happens. Gralf Breaks Christmas, the internet. Creed 2. I never saw Creed. I did see Ralph Breaks the Internet. I'm going to be honest with you. I saw that with my girlfriend in theaters. The Nutcracker and the Four... Oh, so that's what I was doing. I was seeing Ralph Breaks the Internet this month. Nutcracker and the Four Realms, Instant Family, A Star is Born, Nobody's Fool, Widows, and Venom. I actually really like Venom, Joey.
Didn't care. I didn't watch it.
It's fun. If you view it as like a gay buddy comedy or something, it's like really good. Just the first and second one, though. Third one's awful. Holy god damn, it was bad. All right, this movie, The Burning, though, it had a budget of $7.28 million. It's quite a bit of money, Joey. 7 million.
I mean,
do you think all of it went to Steven Yeun?
I don't know. I feel like Steven Yeun's a real G, and he wouldn't demand a bunch of money for a movie like this.
Yeah, hopefully. But for comparison's sake, this movie, the weekend box office, it made $26,130 between two theaters. This is kind of disputed. Obviously, we're talking about the U.S. release where no one gave a shit. But for example purposes, 26,000. The Grinch animated remake made 67 million that opening weekend. 41 theaters, 4,000 theaters. So yeah, only 2 theaters for Burning. You barely had an option to see this one, Joey. So don't feel bad.
I know.
The total worldwide gross here might be $7.5 to $8 million. It is disputed though due to inconsistent international reporting. Everyone, we don't have good numbers from Korea necessarily, but I think it probably did decent in Korea. Do you believe this made $8 million?
Yeah, I would think so.
Yeah, I don't know if it made its money back necessarily all the way, but maybe pretty close. Now, I guess we do have a lot of trivia. But we should get into that maybe as we watch the movie.
I think one thing it is important to really touch on here is he was kind of blacklisted for a decade. That's why you have let's see, this came out in 2018, right? And then before that, the previous movie Poetry was 2010. So he was blacklisted because he's a political activist. Did not really get along with, here I have a quote from the wiki. He recalls his 8-year hiatus. During these 8 years, I questioned myself a lot. What kind of films I want to make and what kind of films am I going to make for my audience? Actually, it wasn't necessary to catch up for such a long time. I just could have easily made films that people wanted to see with a touch of my personal style so they could be critically acclaimed, but I was looking for my own films. That's all I can speak and talk about. At the time, I was thinking about people's anger. Everybody I knew back then was angry, no matter their religion or nationality or differences. Burning's original story put me in connection with my own questions and story. So, I guess he was kind of lost at the time too. Which translates.
I have a note here that said, "Oh, you go ahead." Sorry, buddy.
I was just saying it is kind of. I think it translates pretty well to this. This movie is just like I say. It's an enigma. It's what is true, what is real.
It is the first film directed by Lee Chang-dong in 8 years. So I was wondering about that. Why he'd been blacklisted for being a lib.
I guess so. Yeah, I mean, Korea in general is a conservative place, and we can touch on that when we get to drugs in the movie and stuff and everything else.
Yeah, I know you brought up the Moonies here, but I was like, the Moonies were dismantled, weren't they? Technically, recently they took a massive hit.
Yeah, well, I mean they've been around for a long time. They still have stuff going on, but they were supposed to be dissolved. In Japan, they did a court order to dissolve it, and it's not what it used to be, of course. That's just a whole can of worms. The Moonies are crazy. We'll just leave it at that. That's
Yeah, I was wondering. I don't know. I don't know much about them, but I've just heard they're a huge, significant force, and then recently they were defanged or something, and I was like, that's weird.
Yeah, well, the guy who Sung Myung Moon, who was the founder, equated himself to being as Jesus pretty much, and they had these mass marriages where he would just prick who you marry, and you had to do that if you want to be part of the church, and it's a lot of shit. It's
Korean Jesus. That's where it comes from in 21 Jump Street.
Yeah, sure.
You seen that movie?
No.
They have a whole subplot where they're like Korean Jesus, and they have a whole bust of a Korean looking Jesus.
Yeah.
Yeah, so first movie in 8 years, and here we go. I should also note, Steve, I guess we should go through the cast, huh? This is time to go through the cast before we get into it.
Yeah, we're only an hour in almost, so we should start at some point.
That's how it works. That's how it works, Joey. Not everything makes it in. The cast. So I tasked you with figuring out the cast this week, Joey. And you wrote a lot. I'm surprised.
Yeah.
But We got Yoo Ah-in. For some reason, I saw a note somewhere online where someone was like, "It's too bad. I can't imagine him getting cast again." And I was like, "What?" And I guess that more has to do with his like him getting canceled and shit.
Yeah, cause like he hasn't like came out as gay. He's been outed kind of sometimes, which is it's a little bit more accepted these days, but back then still not as much. I mean, when I was hanging out with Koreans back in the mid-aughts, there would be some of them that would like stick to this point, like, no, there's not any gay people in Korea. There's maybe a few, but no. I'm like, no, dude, there's like at least 10%. That's just how it is everywhere. And he's like, no, Koreans aren't really gay. Like, okay, buddy, sure, if you think so. Which is funny because like in there they don't mind to show affection between men. Like whereas like if me and you were seen like holding hands or like kind of hugging each other, people would go, maybe not these days, but especially back then here, people go, oh, you're gay. Over there, it wouldn't be a thing. Like, there were definitely times where like Korean dudes were in my personal space way too much. And I was questioning whether like they were trying to get with me when they were just being friends. It's just it's such a ironic thing, and he also was popped for propanol, which I guess is like what is that? Anyway, another drug, ketamine,
some
coke.
kind of narcotic. Yeah,
which drugs are a big no-no there.
You can't even smoke weed, apparently.
No, like even if you have it in your system, like here's the thing, not to rat myself out here, but I used to smoke marijuana often.
Oh, and whoa!
Don't tell anybody.
No.
Before I was going over there, like I stopped for like two months before because technically there, if it's in your system at all, like do a hair test, you can go to jail for that. Now they'd probably just deport.
Oh my god!
They would just deport me probably and be like, "Fuck you, you're gone." And they probably would never do a hair test.
They're like, "We're taking some of your hair."
But because I was teaching children, so if like someone accused me of something, they could be like, "Oh yeah, test them for drugs." Like So I stopped for a while. I missed out on.
Did you have short hair at the time?
I had just cut it short around that time. It had been really long. That was probably one of the reasons I cut it mostly off of it, but hard to remember back then. So anyway, I've got off track. But yeah, he was also in one of my top 5 from last year, The Match, about Go, the chess-like game Go. He was in that, so shout out Yoo Ah-in. But the charges eventually got dropped. It looks like of sexual. He got accused of sexual assault, but those were dropped from him. It was a man who accused him. He calls himself a feminist, and he's definitely all about woke stuff in Korea, and that's tough for him. So, what's up?
Yeah, you don't want to be woke in Korea.
Yeah, like I say, it's gotten vastly better in the last 20 years, though.
Yeah, probably even better in 2018. It's almost been 10 years since this movie.
Yeah. And then we have Stephen Yeun as Ben, which Stephen Yeun, I think, needs no introduction. Walking Dead fame. Yeah. His show on Netflix, Beef, excellent as well.
He's in Sorry to Bother You, Joey, Boots Riley's movie. He plays a big role.
Oh, well, maybe I'll watch it then if Steve's in there. But, I mean, his role as Glenn, he was very beloved by many, many people. Definitely when he died in Walking Dead, there was definitely...
I was like, fuck this shit.
It's like, fuck it. Who cares now? But Stephen Yeun was born in Korea, and when in 1983, then they moved to Regina, Saskatchewan, Canada in 1988, and eventually moved to Michigan where he graduated. Eventually moved to Michigan where he graduated high school in 2001. So he's about my age. I am just a month older, but he graduated a year before me, so I guess the cutoff dates in Michigan were different or wherever. Or he probably just started young because he was from Korea and he's smarter. But they spoke Korean in his household. And I asked some Korean friends, like, how's his Korean accent? They said it's pretty good. Like, when I hear it, I can tell he's still, like, I mean, I guess it is technically his first language, but when you're 5, it's not really set in stone yet, So I can hear the difference between him speaking Korean and, like, someone who's grown up their whole life in Korea speaking Korean. Because even if you're in that home, he's so exposed to English and, like, you don't hear any accent when he speaks English at all, right? He sounds... like a first language.
It probably works well in this movie, right? It probably works well to his like weird sociopathy.
It does, and I think I saw someone say that he speaks with like a kind of highfalutin Korean accent. I guess that's highfalutin. I'm sure that's exactly how they would say it there. He also grew up very Christian as well. So, interesting note there.
Christians in Korea.
Yeah. Christianity is big there. I went to church there some, and half the population has no religion. The other half, you have about 31% being Christian, I think the number was. I saw it here, and 18% Buddhist, which that gap has been changing. It used to be about 25 and 25%. A lot of churches in Korea. Like, that would be a funny thing. I'd send my mom pictures of churches so she could feel a little more comfortable. Like, hey, it's not that different. It's not dangerous. 'Cause North Korea, they're all
They got
scared.
Christians here.
Yeah, they're Christians.
Oh, yeah,
It's
of
fine.
course.
It's fine. It's safe.
You're like, hey, Mom, look, I'm on the border of North Korea.
Yeah. But now I'm at church, and they're buying me food. They gave me a little plaque thing with Philippians on it when I left, which my mom has up in her house. So, they were very good to me. Sejungan Church, shout out. Thank you. Good guys.
This was the film debut of actress Jong-seo. Now I want to ask Joey, because I know it's like this with Japanese people too. But yeah, Jong-su. Jeon Jong-seo.
Yeah, okay.
Do they have two different spellings of their names?
Well, the romanization of Korean words sucks. I wish we just had like the straight up Korean on here. Jong is the last name, right? And
okay.
And the second, Koreans always have 3 syllables for the name for the most part. There are exceptions. Sometimes, like I had a friend named Hyun, so just Lee, which they don't say Lee to E. Hyun. So just 2 syllables for his whole name. But like her Jeon Jong-seo is how you would say it. It's much easier for me to read in Korean. So Jong-seo is her actual name. And funny thing, like if you have a brother or sister, usually you share the first syllable of your first name. So Ji-hye, Ji-hyun, Ji-su, or I had friends Uhan and Ubin. They were brothers. First syllable they usually share. So just a neat little.
It's just so different from English. It's hard for the English mind to wrap its brain around even the concept of like having 2 different ways of saying your name. I don't know. Same thing happens with Japanese people, and I'm like, I get so confused reading credits.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of it is just because like romanizing those names are hard because there's some sounds you just don't have, and like they look,
Yeah, for sure.
I'm sound like I'm just.
I'll bring this up now too. Like I watched 2 different versions of the movie and with 2 different translations, and I was like, oh, that's right, because people are translating this shit slightly differently potentially, and that kind of wasn't. I don't know. It's just interesting.
Yeah, I mean, because it's a hard one, especially like translating and transliterating. It's because if you have a proverb and you say, oh, the tiger's tail is wound tight or something, you might not get what the fuck that even means or why it would mean that or blah, blah, blah. I watched the version on Canopy, which you get from your public library card. Free movies. Highly suggest. Canopy Lippy. Shout out. But I don't know. Is there anything particular? Those 2 translations that you're like, oh.
No, it was just slightly different. Like at the beginning when she's like, so have you done your military service? And one, he's like, oh yes, of course. And then the other one, he's like, I've just finished. And it's like, okay, I don't know.
Yeah.
It's like slightly different context sometimes.
Because if you translate Korean directly, it can be really difficult because sometimes, like a lot of times they just drop the subject. Once it's inferred, they don't
like
bring it up.
Reverse, right? Like they'll say like a word that'll be at the end of the sentence, but they'll say it up front. And there's like stuff like that where it's just their language is a lot different.
Yeah, the word order, and that's what like when I was trying to learn Korean, like I say, you could learn to read it in like a day. But it's a subject, object, verb. So the verb's always at the end. So like, we say I eat apples, but they say apples eat. 저는 쌍과를 먹어요. sagwa is apple. ru is the object marking particle. 먹어요, and then the conjugation. 먹었어요, I ate. 먹어요, I will eat. So like when you're trying to think, especially like a long sentence, like, I went out and got some tacos and ate it at the park. Like, I have no idea how I would, I just conjugate that. I have to like, it's so confusing. That's why like anybody that's Korean or Japanese that's speaking English at a decent level, props to you, man. Like, you know, it's hard.
Yeah, I mean, English is hard to learn. Yeah, imagine like knowing 2 of these languages. Like, well, I don't know. Some people, know like 8 languages and shit. It's crazy. Anyway, Jeon Jong-seo, how do you say her name, plays Shin Hae-mi, one of our other lead characters. This was her first audition, just 3 days after she joined a talent agency. Director Lee Chang-dong said about her audition, "When I saw her, she seemed to have this very childlike sense of innocence, but at the same time she carried the sense of duality, as if something much bigger was on the other side of that innocence. So I thought she would be great to give Hae-mi the presence that is so essential for the film, conveying that inner depth that this character has. And perhaps I was unconsciously drawn to the fact that everything was a first time for her. Also, she has a face that makes people wonder if she's feeling and thinking. I think that made her a good fit for Hae-mi's character." Lee also said that although the dance scene was in the screenplay, the dance movements were not planned or rehearsed, but rather Jeon's spontaneous movements. She did really well for her first time. Holy shit. Yeah. I'm going to skip everyone else unless you want to point anyone else out in particular.
Maybe just the guy who played the lawyer, Moon Song-kyun, who's also in The Greenfish, and he's in another movie called On the Beach at Night Alone by Hong Sang-soo, who is one of my honorable mentions for my top 5. He also
worth watching.
It is. That movie, like Hong Sang-soo's, are all like slice of life type. Set the camera down and let people act in front of it for minutes at a time, like long scenes. And that one in particular is like kind of based off his real life. I won't spoil anything, but it's a group of people on a beach and it involves making a movie, and it's good. It's worth watching. But yeah, that's probably it. And then the one who plays Hae-mi's sister, she's just there for a minute. Lee Bong-ryun, I guess that's how you say it. It's romanized here. But she was in a bunch of dramas and was in a movie called A Taxi Driver from 2017, which is about the 1980 Gwangju Uprising, which is a big Korean moment of pretty much really the tipping point from going from dictatorship to democracy, setting that for like the people to gain their own power again. So that's a good movie to watch. A Taxi Driver, 2017. Other than that, I'm good with the cast.
Okay. Thank you for bringing that to the show. I would not have. I would have just been like, you got Steven Yeun, you got Yoo Ah-in, you got Jeon Jong-seo. So, and then everyone would have been offended. So thanks for bringing your side.
Yep.
That's it. I mean, that's really it. Let's get into this film.
Yeah.
Thanks, Adam. Now, this movie, pretty simple plot this week. We have Jong-su, a young delivery worker drifting through life in rural South Korea, living alone on his father's farm. Well, he goes to move and live on his father's farm. Where is he living before that? He's just kind of in the city somewhere, maybe? Or do you think is he living on the farm the whole time in the movie? He's just moving in?
It's not really explicitly said, is it? But it seems to me like I thought he would have been living in Seoul. We don't ever see him anywhere till we see him sleeping at his father's. So, I mean, he is driving this truck when he meets Hae-mi, so he could just have always been his dad's.
It's kind of like surreal and ambiguous, you know? He just kind of enters the story.
Yeah.
Just drifting along, exactly. But his dad is facing a trial for assault. I thought that stuff with his dad was really interesting, like him just staring him down in court. I was like, oh my God, he had to like walk out. I don't know. Yeah, his dad, I guess, like he assaulted a farm worker. I don't think it's told why or anything. It's just he was in the wrong for doing it, and he's completely wrong. He's going to be sentenced. And
it was a public servant coming to like work on something on his property or something. I don't know.
Oh, okay. Everyone says he's an asshole. Like all the neighbors are like, yeah, he wasn't a nice guy. But yeah, I don't know. Yeah, it's interesting flavor to the movie as this father figure. One day he runs into Hae-mi. This is the very opening of the movie. Again, very, very colorful. An interesting, like, funny note here is, like, I was watching it and the subtitles were both telling me what the credits were saying as well as what they were yelling. And so at one point I thought they were yelling that the sale was based on a book by Murakami. And I was so confused. I was like, is this breaking the fourth wall? I was like, oh no. But he runs into Hae-mi, a girl from his childhood, who insists they used to know each other. She goes into like this thing where she's like, I used to be ugly. I got plastic surgery. Now they made me pretty, huh? Jong-su doesn't remember her the way she remembers him. They fall into a brief, awkward intimacy going out to like a bar. And, you have the whole scene of her eating the... What is it? Like a tangerine or something?
Yeah, pantomiming the tangerine. She's like, and the quote is something like, you don't concentrate that the tangerine is... You don't have to think that the tangerine is there. You just have to forget that it's not there.
Yeah, exactly. She did an okay job. Did you believe she was eating a tangerine?
As it went on, sure. There's
a little weightless for me. I could have used a little bit more weight in that performance.
Well, anytime I think of like pantomiming and stuff, I think of like the scene in Hook, like where they're imagining the food, Hook.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You haven't seen Hook, have you?
Not since I was a kid, but I know what you're talking about because I remember it a little bit.
Like imagining the food, like, and it's just slop.
I started,
colors.
To be real with you, I started thinking about the Adventures of Pinocchio, the Jonathan Taylor Thomas Pinocchio movie.
Bangarang. Okay. Moving forward.
I gotta watch it. I would love to watch Hook on this podcast. That'd be a fun one. Anyway, yeah, they fall into awkward intimacy. They go out to the bar or whatever, and she asks him like to watch her cat. Can you feed my cat while I'm gone? He's like, you're gonna bring the cat to my place? And he's like, no, a cat should never. You're gonna come to my place and feed him. A cat should never be removed from its home.
True.
And I was like, oh, is this why Joey wanted me to watch this movie? Because it's all about cats.
There's a little cat element, little kitty cat element.
Some cats in here.
Or are there?
She's going on. Or are there? Yeah, exactly. And she's gonna go. She tells a story about. I like the whole thing about great hunger, little hunger. About how little hunger is like your literal needs. Like, oh, I'm hungry. I need to eat something. And like big hunger is the need for the meaning of life. And like understanding where your position in the universe, that kind of thing. I really like that. That's really cool.
Definitely.
Yeah. And anyway, a cat he never actually sees. He never sees this cat, and I love that it's so strange. This movie is kind of surreal because he goes over there, and he's like, "Are we going to talk about the fact that there's no cat here?" And I don't know. It's just so strange. But they have sex. They have this awkward sexual encounter, and he's like staring at a light on a wall. What'd you make of the light on the wall stuff, Joey?
That's an interesting one. I think like it's kind of for them. It's looking to something because it's coming from like the Seoul Namsa Tower or whatever it is, which is like this big Space Needle looking type thing. It's popular to go up there. I think it's Namsam Tower that they refer because it's northern Seoul. I think that's what he says. It bounces off the light. Anyway, I think it's them looking to like purpose, to fulfillment. The light coming in literally, and it's only for that small period of time. And that's in a way you can say that's life. You have to just enjoy that small bit of light when it does come through your life. Because a lot of times it is darkness. If you want to get deep.
I think I read someone say that it also is like aspirational. Like you want to be on that building. You don't want to be in this tiny, like, cause this is a tiny apartment. When they go back to Hae-mi's place, it's shocking. And they're making jokes about it. He's like, my old apartment used to have a toilet right next to the kitchen or whatever. And they walk in and, it's supposed to be like, oh, it's not that bad, but it's like so small. Like people would come into my apartment here in America and they'd be like, oh, it's pretty small. I'm like, yeah, it is. It's a 1-bedroom. But it's not nearly as small as what Hae-mi has to deal with. And like you see this stuff in Parasite too. And is that like the average there? Is that how most people are living?
Hers is really small. I mean, if you're single, yeah, probably. Like when I was teaching, I had 2 different apartments. Both were bigger than hers, not by much. The one in Busan was probably maybe 5-10 feet longer and wider. The one I had in Anyang had like about that same space as the one in Busan, but it also had a loft where you could sleep. So that helped a lot. But, single, apartments, yeah, you're going to have a small bathroom, which Korean bathrooms are wild anyway. Like, you wear slippers in there because there's a drain that look it up. They're wild. I took the minute to adapt. Then a small area. I had like 2 burners. So like, one time I made chicken parmesan for a date, and like it took me 2.5 hours because I had to like balance stuff and rewarm and reheat, and insane. And then I had like a main room with a couch and like a TV. Hers is pretty small. There's even smaller ones like an office tales and what are they called? There's really small ones you can rent out that are pretty much half that size, where there's just a communal bathroom.
Could you make a comparable like USD comparison and say this is how much it cost me per month?
I wouldn't know because mine was included. I know you can get something.
Oh, okay.
I'd reckon that some place like hers is probably $600-700 a month at this point.
Oh man, yeah, that's not good. I pay like twice that probably, but like I got a pretty like. Well, in comparison to her, I'm living large.
Well, it's how you live too, because it's like you don't have to have as much food. You're gonna have a smaller fridge because people buy stuff more frequently because you have neighborhood grocery stores and vegetable stores, and you have places you can get. You can go to the convenience store and get a sandwich or noodles for a couple bucks, and it's healthier food in the convenience stores. So it's like you don't have to stock up as much if you're looking to save. Plus, you're not.
That's one of the things
driving
too about
anywhere.
Here is like, like when you have like groceries. When I think about cars, I'm like, that's the big reason is like I have to get groceries. I need a car.
Yeah, and it's just sometimes it's really nice to not have shit to take care of. I have I live in a house by myself. It's 3 bedrooms and 1 bathroom, big flex, right? Nice little tract house. But it's a lot of shit and it's a lot of open space. I mean, my cats have their own room there. There's like nothing in it. They just hang out, sit by the window.
Dan and Adam are moving to Kentucky. We're moving into Joey's room with his cat.
That's their house. You can't do that.
So she's gone. Hamey leaves. She goes to Africa to do some weird thing. Never really explained. While she's gone, Jong-su becomes obsessed with her absence. So he starts goes over. He feeds the cat. He never sees the cat, which is strange. But he does see the poop in the litter box. He's like, "Oh, you're gonna show me your poop before you meet me? Introduce yourself." And I don't know. It is strange, right? Like that he's just like jerking off in her room and shit. What do you think about that?
I mean, it's not surprising. These movies like this.
Did you just come?
It's one of those things where it's like I don't necessarily know why you would have that scene in there. I mean, I guess it shows he maybe is looking towards that same shit, but it seems like
potentially puts him in a negative light.
I guess so. It's like it takes I don't know. It takes some people out of it, I guess. But I mean, if you're watching this movie, it's probably not going to be the first thing that you think of. But
no, but I think it's something you think of as you're watching it after the words, and you're like, "Huh? Was he completely reliable? Is he a reliable person?
Yeah,
I believe everything he says and his perspective. I don't know. There's many points we'll get into where I'm just like, I don't know, man. But yeah, waters her plants, wanders her empty apartment, waits for a return, like someone waiting for a signal from another world. When Hamey finally comes back, she's not alone. She brings Ben, a wealthy, enigmatic young man she's met abroad, played by Steven Yeun. Ben is everything Jong-su isn't, confident, bored, and amused by life. The three form a strange triangle. Jong-su watching, Hamey drifting, and Ben smiling at something only he understands. What'd you think about Ben when he was introduced, Joey?
So right away, they walk into the airport, and he's so happy to meet her. He got the phone call. He couldn't really hear, but he got enough information to meet her there. And she's like, a few lengths away from Steven Yeun. Coming out of the airport terminal, you don't necessarily think of anybody being together. And she gets the hug, and then she's like, oh, here's Ben. And automatically, like, if that was me, I'm like, oh, hi, Ben. Who are you? And she like breaks it down that they had met because they were there for 3 days at the terminal stuck, and they were the only Koreans, so they bonded. They go to dinner, and right away it's like, because you're seeing everything from Jong-su's perspective, and I guess you're on his team, I guess, at that time. And so you're already kind of suspect of Ben, he's in the way. And Ben's just kind of whatever. And Hae-mi starts giving her story about whatever and starts crying. And Ben just kind of laughs at her and, says, like, I've never cried before, which is, that's definitely a red flag. You go, you've never cried. He's like,
yeah, what the fuck?
I'm sure I did as a child, but I don't remember since I was probably 5. And, he asks, he's kind of a snarky little bitch to Jong-su when he asks about him writing. And then, Jong-su asks what he does.
When he tells him, yeah, exactly, yeah.
And he says he plays, which is an interesting verb in Korea. Because, play... for example, like one time when I first was hanging out with Koreans in college and like some girl said, hey, we should play sometime. And, if a girl said that to you here, you're thinking, oh, fuck. That's pretty forward. I'm excited. But when you say that to someone in Korea, it just means let's hang out. Let's go do something together.
Well, I was thinking about that because it's like work and play, right? So he's like, you're a worker and I play. Like it just seemed like an obvious like class element, right?
Yeah, he's a man of leisure, But that's just funny. The verb they're playing. I had a very big cultural faux pas when I first understood how that verb worked.
Okay.
Like, oh shit, this girl's won it. No,
you're like sick.
And then I think it's like, okay, well, let's hang out. And it's like, can so and 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 so come? And I'm like, oh, I must have.
That kind of reminds me of this movie, right? Where Ben comes in and I'm like, man, this is fucked up. Poor Jong-su, man. What the fuck?
Yeah.
What the fuck, man? I was cringing that whole time because it's like, are they together? Like, are they coming back as a couple? And I guess they are, right? Because in the Mark,
I think there's a spark there.
Story.
Yeah. Go ahead. Sorry.
In the Murakami story, it's like more explicit that they are together. They come back as boyfriend and girlfriend, Ben and.
Well, in the Murakami story, there's a 12-year gap. He's not a farmer's son. He's married. They aren't having sex. So like it's a more playful relationship. Between
no sex. Yeah,
them,
exactly.
It's like he's like almost like she's a muse in a way. And that. Anyway, it's only 13 pages long. Read it, everybody.
That was good. I enjoyed it.
It's kind of interesting how you can stretch out 13 pages.
But it just flew by. I thought it was going to be hard to read, but I was like, no, I read that in like, I don't know, 10 minutes maybe.
Yeah, page a minute. You can do it. Anybody can do it. I believe in you. Read. But yeah, back to, we don't know, like, you're kind of expecting. Then they have that really awkward moment when they're leaving, and he's, he gave them both a ride to the restaurant, which also, Ben talking in the car on the phone, that was very annoying on the way there. But she asks, it's I can take you home. And like, she looks at him and, she obviously wants him to like say yes or ask like, no, I can do it. And he just gets her suitcase out and hands it over. Like he's waiting for her to say, ask that, that awkward, I don't know, bit of like autistic awkwardness of with the opposite sex
the whole movie,
which I've had plenty of instances of that, and especially when I was young, just didn't trust my gut on the social cue, and I'm sure that plays into the class thing and being abandoned by his mom, etc. Just not being sure he can trust himself or someone else.
Yeah, we didn't talk about that, but his mom, abandoned him at a young age because his dad was so pissed all the time. She's up and left, and she kind of appears later in the story in just a very weird, small part.
And we'll talk about that soon when they visit him. But yeah, so after this point, when he kind of gives up there, she kind of becomes Ben's plaything.
Pretty much, yeah. She's they have a couple meetups, right? I guess they really have the two, right? Because they meet up at like a restaurant, and Ben's like, yeah, she wanted to see you.
Well, yeah, it was like a coffee shop, which coffee shop's culture is really big in there, and then they also meet with the group of friends. I forget that. Does that happen before they meet at his house, or is it? It's before, because like that's the last time we see her is at his house, isn't it?
Yeah, that's before. You're right. Or no, this must be this meetup, right? Because they're like, hey, we're getting together with people.
Yes, it is. That's right. And so they go out, and all these very young, attractive, and seemingly rich Koreans in their 20s, 30s are there. And that's where she starts to talk about
Little Hunger, Big Hunger.
Yeah, the tribesmen and stuff.
Did you think they were making fun of her?
Definitely, they were laughing at her. Which Stephen Yeun has some great facials in these. Like when he does like not roll his eyes, but he looks at Jong-su when she's doing her dance, just like, yeah, that's her.
And he yawns. That's his big thing, is he just keeps yawning because he's bored. He's bored with all this stuff. He doesn't like people.
There are some well-timed yawns in this movie by Stephen Yeun. I think he does a really good job.
Oh yeah, of course. And so you get this idea that Ben is like a sociopath. He's a psychopath. He's a weird rich guy. I think Jong-su describes him as Gatsby.
Yeah.
Right? He's mysterious. No one knows where his wealth came from. And he's kind of in a Gatsby situation himself.
There's a lot of Gatsbys these days in Korea. That's what he says.
Yeah. Yeah. That would have been a good quote. An opening quote. And then, they make fun of her and her dance. And obviously it's a very clear, like, class thing. And from there, I guess he just leaves.
Well, he does that when he meets with him again after she's gone. He just gets up and leaves, and he comes out to the thing. But there, they didn't. There's not really a conclusion to that part, I don't guess.
Yeah, I don't remember. Check it out, folks. But eventually, they do meet up again, and I mean, there's side stories throughout this where he's getting people to sign a petition to help his dad get out of, hopefully reduce his sentence and all this stuff.
There's a scene with a lawyer where they ask him, and the lawyer talks about, it's like, oh, I knew your dad from military service, and I told him if he would have bought some property in Gangnam, and he could have been a very rich man, because, at that time, Gangnam was not the place it is now, so he would have been very rich had he bought any rental property in Gangnam. But he was too stubborn, too proud. And they asked him, like, the lawyer asked Jong-su what he is as writer. He's like, oh, so what are you writing, or what have you worked on? He's just kind of like the way you entertain a child when they say, oh, I want to be a scientist when I grow up, or well, they don't say that here, excuse me. I want to be a doctor or whatever, I
want to be a TikToker.
Yeah.
I like when he asks, he's like, do that for me, boy. Do that. Thanks, son.
Mm-hmm. But then he's like, well, you can write your dad a letter. And like later when they meet again, he's like, oh, you are a good writer.
Yeah. And that's the thing too. Jong-su's like, I guess he postures himself as a writer. We don't necessarily see him writing, or do we? Is this whole story him writing?
We eventually do, but we'll get to that. But so it definitely gives that air of like, oh, I'm a musician. I'm in a band. I want to, I'm an artist. Like, well, what are you doing?
He mentions that to Haimi early on. He's like, I do something else too. All mysterious.
Mm.
One night during a sunset visit to Jong-su's farm, Ben confesses a hobby. So they go over to they call up Jong-su. Like Haimi calls him, is like, yo, we're coming over. Just out of nowhere. How'd you feel about that? He was probably felt embarrassed, right? He's like, oh, you can't invite Ben here.
Well, I mean, he's sitting there and he's taking care of the one calf he has to take care of because his dad's, awaiting trial. And he's singing out loud and, even singing something about a mother. But he's just jamming out, being a dude, like, being free without anybody around, And then he gets that call and he just is frantic to get, I guess, obviously not smell like shit.
Hey.
And they come over and, they smoke weed. And, he's like, oh, what? He obviously never has. And Haimi's like, oh, it just makes me giggle. And so they start getting high and the jazz is on. I think it's Miles Davis in the book.
Yeah, some good stuff.
And, like, she takes her shirt off and starts dancing. And it's a really pretty scene.
It's the poster.
it's really well shot. It lends itself almost to being worth shooting in the extra wide just because of the sunset and her and it's very I don't know, just
it's out of this world.
Natural. I don't know. It's a great shot. It's one of the best shots in a movie I've seen in a long time. And like overall, it's just really good. And it shows that the difference of their personalities. And they start to talk about Ben's hobby.
Ben brings up his hobby that he burns greenhouses. In the original short story by Murakami, he burns barns. It's called like barn burning or something.
Yeah. Sheds per se, more so, but yeah.
Yeah, more like sheds. I don't want to cause a big fire.
Yeah.
So in this movie, it's greenhouses. So apparently there's a huge amount of greenhouses in South Korea. I don't know if that's true, but Ben says so. And what Ben says goes. And he burns down greenhouses, and Jong-su's like taken aback by this. He's like, you burn down other people's greenhouses? In the short story, it's funny because he's like, do you think I'm an idiot? But in the movie, he's more like nice, and he's just like, he's like, yeah, you know. But he's just so nonchalant. Just comes up, he brings it up like it. I think in the short story, he says like he brings it up like it's it's like it's nothing,
Yeah, 'cause like in the book it says, so I said and I stopped. I couldn't figure out how to go on. So why do you burn down barns? And it says, is it strange? I'm not sure. You burn barns and I don't. Obviously, there's a difference between the two.
He's a sick motherfucker. No, we don't know that yet, but we do know he's weird. And obviously, burning down greenhouses is not great. Yeah. But we don't think he's a murderer necessarily. We just think maybe he's an arsonist, right? He's a bored arsonist, rich arsonist.
Yeah, and this is Jong-su's first time smoking weed. So this is, I don't know if you've ever had one of those points when like you happen to be at a party or with some people and you smoked weed with some dude's friend and he says something really weird.
Yeah.
And like one time I was with someone, I thought he said like, I've killed people. I was like, what? And it's like, and he said something else, but I just heard it wrong. But like, there's this weird, we've all had weird interactions like that, I'm sure.
Yeah, no, that's a whole part of the scene. That's why the scene's so dreamy too. Is it's just like, we're smoking a joint, we're out doing this super illegal thing. When he points that out, because he's like, isn't it illegal? He's like, it's as illegal as smoking this joint. It's almost like he's like trying to incriminate Jong-su in that moment. It's so like manipulative.
And the grant and the eye of the public of South Korea for the most part, or at least it was 10 years ago, like marijuana is a real hard drug. It's not, what we see it as for what 80% of the population sees it as here is just like whatever,
Yeah. And he's tells Jong-su there's one nearby he plans to burn soon, but he doesn't say which one. He just says it's nearby. I came out here to scope it out tonight. And Jong-su is transfixed, right? He's like, oh man, I want to know all about this. And I didn't understand what was happening at first in the movie, but he's basically in the short story, it's a lot more clear. He's like planning out routes and he's just checking out every greenhouse in his immediate area. He's like, there's 15 of them. There's like 5 of them it could be. And he just maps out how he could get there and shortest routes. And like all month he's just like going around and like checking them out. In the movie, it's kind of like heightened and more thriller-esque because like you have the owners of the greenhouses who are like, what the fuck are you doing, man?
Yeah, I'm just looking.
And in the novel, it's clear that he's, even he's considering starting to burn that. He's going kind of crazy with the thoughts because he's like, it's not happening. He's waiting for it to come across a burned down greenhouse. It never happens. It's a barn or shed in this one.
Yeah, and it's more explicitly explained in the book too, because he's like, well, every day I ran 3 miles, and within 3.5 miles I saw this, so it wasn't a big deal to extend my run another half mile and do this every day to check these barns and And he does that in the film, but he just explicitly, you don't have that internal monologue explaining. And
he eventually he just starts saying like, maybe I should burn one of them. Do you think that comes across in the movie?
Just slightly, because he does try to burn one for a second and then freaks out and puts it out. I think he wanted to see how fast it goes up. Remember, he burns.
Forgot about that.
He burns it for just a second and and pulls the plastic down with his hand. That had to hurt. Who is the greenhouse he's referring to? I don't know if we want to talk about that now, but we'll go. I guess we'll keep going.
Yeah, we'll get to it. I mean, that should be implied here, folks. There's more than just what we're saying.
And it's funny because Ben is talking to Jong-su, who's supposed to be the writer. So the writer should get metaphor, allegory, all those things much more quickly. Whereas like he's taking him literally, and he's like marking down. He starts looking for the greenhouses. You know, like he doesn't want to accept what it is, possibly.
Yeah, in the short story, he's just completely clueless almost. He's in denial, maybe.
Yeah.
But yeah, Haimi disappears. This is the last time he sees her, and the big kicker is he tells her, "Why do you take your shirt off around men so easily? Only whores do that." Oh, what?
Sorry. I'll let you get that point in, but let's go back real quick. So I do want to say, like, there was one thing when they're oversharing, and like there's a quote at the end of that whole greenhouse conversation, and he says something about them being useless. Ben does, and then Jong-su says, "And you judge whether or not they're useless?" And Ben replies, "I don't judge anything. I just accept it. I accept they are waiting to be burned down. It's like rain. Rain falls, the river overflows, causing a flood that sweeps people away. You think the rain judges anything? There is no right or wrong there, just the morals of nature." Pretty profound quote. And then, like you say, like they're getting ready to leave, and what does Jong-su do?
He calls her a whore.
What was the line? What was the line you said?
Well, he's just like, he says, "Why do you take your shirt off, your clothes off so easily around men? Only whores do that."
Yeah, and that's the last thing he ever says to her.
And it's so sad because like after this, we learn like that he was, she was basically reaching out. I think she was crying out for help, right?
Yes, I think so. I mean, talks about it the whole time, like looking for purpose and whatever else, and she just breaks down crying at times when she's drinking, and and obviously just.
And Ben's just laughing and yawning. He's like, "It's so cool."
Yeah.
No calls, no texts. Her apartment is empty. I guess we do get a call though. That's not true. We get a call from Haimi, and she. It's just brief. And in my mind, I was watching the movie honestly, and I was like, is this like a butt dial and he's gonna hear Ben and her having sex or something? Like that's where I was at the movie. I was like, that could potentially happen. But no, it was like, maybe a struggle or something, and she was calling out, literally calling for help. Yeah,
well, you hear like footsteps, like she's obviously like like in my mind I see that she has dialed him to ask for help or to come get her or something, and then she starts running as she hits the button, like someone's after her, and then you hear like a little noise, and then that's it.
Click. And he tries to figure out where she went. Her apartment is like, I guess, empty. I don't remember how the sequence of events happens, but he does meet up with Ben, and he's at like a coffee shop, and he's like, "Yeah, I haven't seen her."
Yeah, well, there's a point where he goes to her apartment and he can't get the door open, like the code's not working.
Yeah.
Which, man, those codes are frustrating sometimes. But that was another awesome thing about Korea. Like, just put in the code. You don't have to have your key with you for most of those apartments. Awesome.
Nice. Also scary.
Also scary. I also fucked myself and locked myself out one time because there's like a latch on the inside, and somehow I latched it behind me. Like, when I say a latch, like where you can open the door to peek out and see like the same like how a chain would be, but it's a latch instead. Am I making sense here?
Yeah.
And somehow when I left for work, I latched my door, so like I was locked out pretty much, and like I had to take a shit so bad, and I couldn't get in my apartment. And like the public restrooms in Korea don't carry toilet paper, right? Now, a restaurant may or may not, but like a public restroom somewhere usually does not. That's probably it was changing but anyway. So like I actually had to go to like a dollar store and buy a screwdriver and like get my wrist in the door and unscrew the latch to get myself in, because like there was like no maintenance man around that I could say, "Hey, whatever," and like what were they gonna do anyway? Like it's latched. I'm not gonna break the fucking door. And so like I'm trying not to shit on myself unscrewing this. And this is like a 25-minute event from like where I get to my door and like, oh, I can't wait to get in there and use the bathroom. Anyway, the story, great story. You can probably edit that out.
I've lost my key before. I get it. It's Luckily, I had people who could help me. I literally had. Do you know how people put like a key on the top of a door frame? I did that in my apartment for like a day because I needed to leave it, and then I accidentally pushed it too far and it fell behind the door. I guess there's a crack there before the door frame. I just lost that key forever. Anyway, Hamey's gone. He goes, and the apartment lady's like. The apartment lady's like, I don't know, I'll get in trouble if I let you in. And he eventually lets her in. It's all clean in there.
Yeah.
There's no cat. He's like, yeah, see, there's no cat. And he tries to, say there was one. And it's weird, right? Because it's just like, yeah, I don't know. That's very strange.
And her luggage is still in the closet, too.
Yeah. I don't know. Yeah, it is strange. Something happened. Something that he can't articulate. And then, there's several scenes here where he's, I don't know when he starts following Ben, but it's probably around here. He just starts following and stalking Ben, and it's pretty unnerving how it happens.
He just pulls up beside him, and that's a great scene too, where Steven Yeun seems to be in his own world, and then he starts taking off, and he's chasing him in his shitty truck, and that's where they do the coffee shop. It's
If I was Ben, I would just be like, why are you stalking me? Clearly. I guess he does at some point. He's like, you come here for me?
Or does Ben want him to,
Yeah.
There's a scene, too, where he goes and he's talking to one of the girls that I assume was the other girl at the very beginning of the movie when they're doing the contest. They're in their uniforms on the mic, and that's where he wins a watch. We didn't bring that up. He wins a girl's watch, and that was one of the first conversations they had because they have a cigarette together. And, he gives her the watch, and she's like, oh, this watch is so cheap. That's where she finds out he doesn't have a girlfriend, and they end up going for drinks. They're spitting in their cups while they smoke, which is something Koreans do. And that took a while to adjust to. That was definitely a culture shock moment. Like some beautiful woman sitting here talking to her, smoking a cigarette, spitting on the ground. Like, oh, Jesus.
Yeah, I was like, damn, why are they spitting so much?
That's just a cultural thing. that was a thing. So, but the girl says, that she had debt, and her family, when he goes to her family's restaurant, and they talk about early in the movie, she talks about a well story when they first get to the farm, and that she had fallen in a well, and then I saw his face bright, shining like the sun. I'd been crying for hours.
It's like Jong-su, and he saved me.
Yeah, and he's investigating that too throughout the movie. He asks a neighbor, and the neighbor's like, oh, I don't think so. When he later gets to the family restaurant, they're like, what? She likes to make up stories. Well, there was no well. Mm-hmm. But then when he meets with his mom, yeah, who's coming to beg for money because she owes a debt collector, 5 million won, which is about $5,000 at the time, I guess, probably, give or take.
Damn. He's like, I got to sell the cow.
Yeah, he's like, I'll pay it. But and then he asked about the well. It's like, yeah, there was a well there, without missing a beat. She's like, yeah, there was a well. Yeah,
I think there was a well, and I think the parents are just ashamed that they let their daughter fall down a well, I guess.
Yeah, because, they had talked about, she can come back when she pays off her credit card. So I assume that she probably got them in some debt, too. And debt collection is a real thing in Korea. You might get money from loan sharks. And you see this in Japanese stuff with the Yakuza and things. And it's similar there in Korea, where you could get, I don't know how often people disappear for it, but they definitely run away from it. So that's one thing he's trying to figure out,
Mom describes them as Grim Reapers.
Yeah. They're in their suits. So they're nodding towards it. And that's a cultural thing you'd be more aware of if you were in Korea or whatever else, or Korean, that could be a thing too.
Capitalism is always pressing down on the characters here.
That she just disappears, possibly. And, the mom, because the dad forced him to burn her clothes, that's the story he overshares with when they're getting high. We forgot about that part too. But he burns his mom's clothes, all of her clothes, when she leaves. So his own burning,
What was that dream sequence with the burning shed, barn, or greenhouse? What was that about?
I don't really know. I assume, to me, that was is he the one that is doing the burning? Maybe that's him. Did he push her away? And it's his fault that she's gone now. His own feelings. That's all I could come up. And when he's also, What was it? When he's at the
Did
art
You're
exhibit.
saying Jong-su pushed Hey Me away, right?
Yeah. When they're when he's doing that, and then he goes to like the art place, and he's looking at, you know, all this people on fire and stuff. That was actually a art exhibit for like Yongsan District 4 fire that happened in 2009. It was like kind of a memorial thing, and what it was is like pretty much the apartments were going to be demolished, and people were holding a protest because they didn't want to leave, and the protesters were like on the roof, a lot of them, and then there was a fire broke out, and so some people died. Like 30 at the time, the rooftop had about 30 people on it, and they were protesting, and a fire ended up killing 6 of them and injured 23 people. Some people went to jail that organized it, but that's like the art exhibit he's at. So another thing you wouldn't know intrinsically if you hadn't know about Korea. So, you know, a lot of burning.
Flew right over my head.
Yeah. It did me the first time too. And until I started to peel back and do my own little research for this, like, oh, right. Yeah. I remember hearing about that before. So, you know, it was a national tragedy, and it obviously it's another burning, right? A literal burning.
Yeah.
I thought that was really him for a second.
And then the last scene we hear really is with Ben when he goes over and Ben invites him up. And he's like, "Oh, you're here for me? You're stalking me, bitch? Come up and hang out."
Yeah.
And he invites him up, and he finds out he has a new cat. Ben has a new cat. He's like, "Where'd you get the cat?" He's like, "Oh, no, I picked him up." He's like, "What's his name?" He doesn't have a name yet. And you know, his like new girlfriend shows up. His new girlfriend is a thing that's been in the picture for a while. So Ben's already moved on.
When they met at the coffee shop after he was stalking him, that's when she showed up, and Ben was reading William Faulkner at the time too. So that was a nice little Easter egg.
Yeah, well, because it was recommended because that's Jong-su's favorite author. He said
yes
when they're doing the conversation. So it's almost like because we learn later, because Ben, it says, I think he already said at this point that Hae-mi was basically loved Jong-su and trusted him the most, and that made Ben jealous. So it's almost like he's out of jealousy, he's reading this book to figure out what he's missing.
Mm-hmm.
I've never been jealous before.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. There's a lot of nice little small things that tie in, especially on a second watch.
Yeah, for sure. Like, yeah, especially after you get through the first time, you start watching it again. You're just like, oh, I know what's going to happen. So sad. Maybe, I don't know. Do we know what happens? Damn. Now, basically the cat thing happens. The cat gets out. The girlfriend accidentally lets the cat out. And
it's a nightmare for cat owners watching that. It's like when people stamp at my door now, I'm like, either set the fuck down or shut that door. I may not say it like that to my mom. But like, Mom, if you're not going to leave, shut the door. I'm afraid they're gonna make a dash for it. Please.
Yeah, the thing about my cats are old and won't do it, but yeah, young cats, man, ooh, yeah, they'll dart. Yeah, catching cats is crazy. But they, Ben and the girlfriend go to find the cat, and Jong-su finds him behind like a minivan or whatever. He's like, what was the cat's name? Do you remember the cat's name?
Boyle, because she found him in a boiler room.
That's right. He's like, Boyle, come here. And the cat runs to him. So the idea is like the cat is in an unfamiliar environment. He's scared. He's trying to escape. And he sees Jong-su, who he in theory knows has taken care of him. And he says his name, and he's like comforted by it. And he runs to Jong-su and basically runs into his arms.
Yeah.
He's like, oh, he got the cat. And that's like basic. There's also the moment he's in the bathroom here, and he pulls the drawer open and he sees the pink watch.
Yeah, which he had looked in the bathroom before, and like there's the makeup kit as well that he sees. You know, this is the second time, so this time he's checking now, because when they first went to his apartment with Hae-mi, you know, and he's cooking the pasta, and he's like, oh, he's cooking pasta and Påning, you know, a lot of Gatsby's in Korea, you know, must be nice. And then you say the pink watch is here, which is the pink watch that, you know, he gave her from winning the prize from her at the very beginning. And also, if you noticed, I don't know if you did, when he was talking to the one girl that worked with her,
she had the same watch.
She had the same watch on, which I noticed that, and like she had a really great line there too, where she's talking about, you know, what women have to go through. You know, we wear makeup.
Yeah, I love that.
It's too much. We don't have on enough. You say we should wear makeup. There's no country for women, which I thought was a fantastic line. Which,
yeah,
you think about it for a while, you think, God damn, it must
Yeah.
suck to be, you know, have to deal with it. But lots of good little things there. And so, like, he's freaking out. I mean, I would be too. I'd automatically be thinking that. But, you know, that doesn't necessarily mean he's killed all these women, you know, and all of the trinkets are kind of like unsophisticated, right? You know, they're all of like women of their youth.
Yeah. Nothing's definitive so far. Even the cat thing is not definitive.
Yeah. They might
Adam
be.
Sandler's animated.
Jesus Christ. Like, they might just be trophies of his sexual conquest, per se, you know, that he's keeping or whatever.
Yeah. Could be. Or, you know, people just leave things places. I get it. He's a rich playboy.
Yeah.
Now, finally, this is the final piece for Jong-su. He says, "This is it." And he lures Ben to a remote road at dusk, claiming that he has found Hae-mi. They confront each other. It's a very quiet scene. Ben's like, "Hey, man, what's up?" He's like, "Where's Hae-mi?" And then basically Jong-su just leans into him like he's going to give him a hug and stabs him. And just keeps stabbing him. And Ben's just like, oh. And I don't know. What did you think was going to happen there? Did you think maybe Ben would survive? He'd make it through?
I wasn't sure. It was a very nerve-wracking first watch because that truck drives by at first. And then he, like, you know, he takes off all his clothes and burns the car. And it's like, okay, but what if you get pulled over and someone sees you in the middle of winter with no naked driving a fucking truck?
In
and
South
this car
Korea, and you're high.
Yeah, and you didn't put much accelerant in that car. I'm not sure that car is actually going to burn all the way to the ground because cars don't just explode, you know.
Yeah.
But they're like, that's, you know, I didn't really notice it the first time as much. In the second watch, after, like I say, doing some research and people pointed out, there's a scene like once he gets home and he starts writing. And it shows him writing, in an apartment. It looks like it's almost like it's her apartment, which I wasn't sure of. But he starts writing, and then it cuts to some of Ben and his girlfriend. It cuts to a really weird scene where he's putting makeup on her. He takes that makeup kit out, so now we know what it is.
Yeah.
He's like, I don't know, to me, it's like, is that his doll, his plaything type deal? But, you know, this is the first time that Jong-su is not in a scene. And we have a couple a little bit more like that. And even there, as it goes, we don't see it from always his perspective. It's more of a wide out lens thing, you know, of us observing. And a lot of people theorize when he starts writing in the movie at the laptop, everything else is just him getting his own fulfillment and writing how he wants things to go. That it didn't happen. Or did it happen? Did you notice that?
More ambiguity. No, not necessarily. No.
Yeah, I didn't either the first time. Then I read it. I was like, oh, I'm stupid. I'm fucking dumb. I have no right to comment on movies. I didn't notice that at all. You know.
I took it all straight. I mean, I just took for the most part. I was just like, Jong-su wants to be a writer, but he's clearly not going to be.
Yeah. So was the cat real? Was it her cat?
Was it
Schrodinger's cat?
I don't know, dude. That's the whole thing. That is the whole story. Is like, is Jong-su crazy? So the working title of the film among screenwriters was Project Rage. Do you think Project Rage is a good working title?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, because it does show, like, if you want to see, you know, rage is like the other side of depression or sadness, you know? And so, like, the father's angry. Jong-su obviously has some internal anger because of his mom and stuff. You know, we don't see it till possibly the end, whether it's written by him or it's actually acted out when he kills Ben. And, you know, Hae-mi being so forlorn, you know, the opposite of them. But, like, the cat, I think, is an interesting thing. You know, Schrodinger's cat, like, I'm not going to try to explain that. That's quantum mechanic, superstition, whatever. You look it up, smart ass, whoever, you know. We're talking about movies here. But, you know, it's the idea, does the cat exist or was it existing, you know, if it was in the box or not, etc. And we ask because, like, you know, even when he goes to her apartment and the landlady lets him in, it's like there's no cat. And there was none. But very obviously there was a cat because when he went to check on it the first time, there was poop in the box. And it would be
exactly.
It would be quite a bit for her to find cat poop and put it in a box, you know. And so someone would say like, well, you can find that cat. Like, no, man, cats, especially in like with all those crevices everywhere. Like, you know, I know all my cats' hiding spots and still sometimes like freak out because I can't find them because they've got a new one, you know.
Yeah. Like, where's my cat? Blue, where are you? Before we get into some more theoretical stuff on the movie, the scene in which the main characters talk at Jong-su's house was filmed over a month.
Yes.
They were only able to shoot for a few minutes every day to capture consistent twilight on camera. That's pretty cool. I didn't think about that in the moment, but yeah, that must have been hard to shoot. Because yeah, they're in the golden or whatever, the golden hour the whole time.
You have like 40 minutes or whatever, 35 minutes.
That's what added to the 4-month shooting time for sure. So Haruki Murakami is known for dreamy ambiguity, surrealism. Lee Chang-dong is known for emotional realism. Would you say that's true?
Well, I haven't read much of Murakami's stuff. In fact, I thought I had. Then I started looking up his bibliography words. And I realized I hadn't. There was other Japanese authors that I'd read. And I did actually start reading the Wind-Up Bird Chronicles by him recently. I'm about a third of the way through, which is good. But, I mean, yeah, I mean, the director's saying it, so I'll take his word for it. You know, they hired him specifically to do this, so I'd say he has a good handle.
Jong-su is an observer, Hae-mi is absence, and Ben is ambiguity. Did you trust Hae-mi from the start? Did something feel off about her at any point?
Maybe. Like, you know, she definitely felt a little needy. Like, because when they have the initial conversation, like, oh, I was ugly, but I got plastic surgery. Don't you think I'm pretty? Which to me would almost be like someone poking at me, like, oh, look at me now, bitch. You know, you made fun of me. But she's not. She's wanting approval. And plastic surgery is a very common thing in South Korea. It's not to the terms of like we think now with like, you know, big injected lips and stuff, but like the basic Botox. They do a double eyelid surgery, which is a lot of Koreans have it. And then rhinoplasties and things like that, you know, very common. I mean, it's if you were dating a Korean girl, you could probably put money on it. She's probably had some type of procedure done.
Yeah.
It's like getting, you know, you think, oh, that's so but like, how many fucking people do you know have got braces? I had braces, you know. We fix our teeth a lot here, you know. We do other stuff like that. It's superficial. You dye your hair, you know. You wear a push-up bra. You buy that shirt that has a good cut so it looks like you have a broader shoulders, you know.
Yeah. Do you think like it's possible she could have just run off?
Yeah. So the debt collection thing for sure. I mean, she's wanting to run anyway, right? That's why she goes to Africa. She's running away. And then like, you know, he posits that to Ben at one point. He's like, she's broke, you know, when they were at the coffee shop. She's broke. And, you know, what did he say to her? Or what did Ben say to him? Like when they first introduced each other, like Hae-mi says at the airport, my one and only friend, talking about Jong-su to Ben. And then at the end, not at the end, but when he meets Ben at the coffee shop with his new girlfriend and he's talking about, yeah, she's broke and like, you know, she was something special to you. And I was kind of jealous for the first time there. You were the only person she could trust, or I forget what the exact line is, but it's something like that. It's very, I don't know. I felt a lot of sadness for her at that point. Cause like, if that was the case, if he was the only thing she felt, you know, trustworthy of, and the last thing he says to her is...
Her life must have been awful then,
yeah.
Right? Like, empty. Because he was like, who are you? I don't even think about you. He's always calling her a whore and shit. What an asshole, dude. He just, every step he can make the wrong choice, he does. Now, Ben. When did Ben become unsettling to you, Joey?
Well, actually, you know, like I say, he got on my nerves at first when he was just having the phone conversation with her coming back at the airport, because I hate people who have phone conversations in closed spaces when you can't get out of it. You know, I don't know. Yeah. There's just people, phone habits make me really mad. But, you know, when he definitely says, like, I've never cried. Like, if you said that to someone, like,
yeah,
you're right away going to go, oh, this person's a sociopath.
He's Ted Bundy. Yeah.
You know. Or he's a liar, you know.
Do you think he's like testing him, or do you think he's mocking him, testing him, or is he generally trying to include Jong-su when he catches Jong-su stalking him multiple times throughout the film?
I think he's just playing with him. And that takes me to the point of who, if we're to say that Ben killed Hae-mi, right? Let's go ahead and put that out there. Let's say Ben killed Hae-mi.
Yeah.
Was she the greenhouse that he wanted to burn down, or was he wanting to burn down Jong-su? I mean, you would think it's Hae-mi, but necessarily it could have been him as well. He could have seen because Ben, tells when they're high that he loves Hae-mi, and he's like, oh fuck, what am I saying? And then she comes right out the door right after that. So that's cut off, and Ben's kind of laughing at him, because like, you're in love with her. I'm banging your girl, Yeah,
it's so so complicated. Do you think there's any concrete evidence that she's missing?
I mean, her phone's turned off. I mean, she's missing in some way, right? Whether she's voluntarily missing, that's maybe another question. Is she dead or not?
She's missing from because some people would say she disappeared. She's like, I'm dealing with these two men that suck. I'm just gonna leave both of them. Yeah,
I mean, and she doesn't have family to go to because they established that she can come back when she paid off her credit cards. The coworker that they talked to, whatever, she didn't really have any friends, which is very unusual for Koreans to be alone, because Koreans are very, they usually have friends, I'll say. Let me put it that way. If for nothing else, they might be fake friends, because social life revolves around stuff. Like,
you have a whole section on here for Korean suicide and how they all kill themselves more than everyone else.
Yeah.
I was like, are you sure about that?
It's improved, but no, it's, but like there is a lot of veneer in that society, because built into the language itself is when you're born on New Year's Day or whatever it is, that's when you turn 26, not on your birthday in Korean years. And you're born as a year old in Korea. So, I'm not 42, I'm 43. So I would be 1 year old when I was born. And when the new year comes, I would be 2. So I could literally be 2 years old when I'm only like 3 weeks old because of the age. It's weird. But you're looped or grouped into that because in the language, there's honorifics. And if anybody's older than you, you have to speak to them with more respect and in a different way. So technically, the only way you can have a friend in Korea is if you're the same age. Everybody else, there's some barrier of age in the language. And, it's not that cut and dry, right? But a lot of Koreans I was friends with when they were speaking English loved it because they felt more free to be themselves. They didn't have that barrier of, hyung, which means older brother. Because I was older than most of these kids by a couple of years. They didn't have to look at me as like the guy they have to defer to. Usually the older person will buy the meals for the younger people and take care of them, but the younger people have to I don't want to say do whatever they tell them to, but they'd have to defer. So it's freeing for them to have that ability, not to be compartmentalized into the year they were born. And it's a lot of social things revolve around you might have a middle school reunion and a high school reunion, or I was college graduating class of here, and we started work at the same time here, so we had the same work anniversary. You're compartmentalized a lot. If your boss wants to go drink, you go drink with him. If your older friend wants to go drink, you stay until he wants to be there or wants to leave. When his glass is full, you need to fill it up, which was a weird thing. I'd go drinking and fill my own glass, and they'd freak out no, because it made them look bad because they weren't being attentive enough to the older young, in their culture. The older brother, they weren't being attentive enough in making sure the glass was always full. Shit like this. So for her not to have any friends is weird.
Yeah.
Sorry for that rant.
she had no friends though. This is concrete evidence in this movie.
I told you I'd bring some cultural insight.
Do you think it's possible she killed herself?
Yep. Which brings us to the suicide, right? Section of that I added.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Well, I don't want to harp on it too long, but in the OECD. 38 most prosperous countries or whatever else. Korea has the highest suicide rate by a large margin. Somewhere around 25 per 100,000, I think, is what this graph shows. Something like that.
It's a lot. It's shocking.
Oh, here we go. Yeah. So leading in 2025 became the leading cause of death for Koreans in their 40s. and had been the leading cause for people from 10 to 39 before that. Men's rates are twice as high as women, but women attempt at a higher rate.
You're like 10 years old. You're like, I want to kill myself. I'm 11.
Yeah. But I think this actually is true for most countries, that men attempt more or commit more suicide, but women attempt more suicide, because men usually choose a much more violent way. They'll hang themselves or jump off something or shoot themselves, whereas a woman will take pills or whatever else, and so someone finds them and you take them to the hospital. But the rates have been going down. The big suicide, and they've had these, and it kind of goes hand in hand with the drug scandals or different scandals of such, just smoking weed, like some guys from Big Bang, which were a big K-pop group, and Psy from Gangnam, they did Gangnam Style. He did
You mentioned Lee Sung-kyun. Who is he in Parasite?
He was the rich dad.
Rich dad, okay. I didn't know that.
Yeah, and he was in My Mister is a drama, which I've watched. Is actually really good. There's some dark quotes in that. I actually have one of his somewhere, but I couldn't find where I screenshotted it. And I didn't realize he had died until I had talked to someone like, oh, I just, one of my Korean friends, like, oh, I just watched My Mister. I was like, yeah, he killed himself. Like, oh, fuck, I didn't know that. Because he was accused of marijuana and ketamine use. And
he was accused of smoking weed.
Well, it was this weird thing because, like, Jesus. I don't know, he was almost being stalked by people, and it was a big thing, and, like, it's hard to rehabilitate your image, after that, and he just ended up killing himself, like, at 43 or whatever he was. Like,
Yeah, R.I.P.
So it's a thing there for sure. I mean, you go to school there, you go to your regular school, you get off at 2, you go to Hagwon's private academies till 6, 7, 8 o'clock at night. So your whole life is school, and then you get out and you have to go to the military. If you're a man.
In the military, I haven't even mentioned that.
Yeah, which, I mean, you can get out of, or you can delay it sometimes, but usually most guys will go in. And maybe this is a little insight too to why Jong-su is such a mark. He's a Poindexter with women, because, like, a lot of times boys and girls don't really associate as much. Sometimes you'll even have boys and girls schools, and just the stringent way that education is. And then, of course, men usually have to do 2 years of service, and they usually do it right after high school. So instead of going straight to college and having more socializing, they get segregated for 2 years. And so, like, the women go and they develop more, and the men kind of still seem a little stagnant when it comes to the maturity level. So, like, Japan, Korea, I think, have similar issues where it might not be too weird if you find out your 30-year-old friend never had a girlfriend.
Yeah, that's crazy, because, you have to do this between 18 and 28 or 30 with extensions.
Yeah, sometimes you get out of it. Like, if you win an Olympic gold medal, you get to, or like an Olympic medal, you don't have to do it.
If you're in BTS, you have to go, though.
Yeah. I mean, it's a thing, And it's not like they're all, I mean, Korea's got a pretty good military pound for pound, actually. They train a lot with us, and they're a pretty big part of the coalition, hold the world together with, China and Russia and North Korea on one side, and little old South Korea with a pretty good Air Force and pretty good special ops people. But they are hardcore, and the ones that, like, think of someone in your mind, of your friend, and you think, oh, they would never be good in the military. Well, those people just sit behind a desk. It's not like they're all soldiers,
Adam would say, yeah. He knows all about that.
Yeah, too bad Adam couldn't be here for that part,
Yeah. Yeah.
So, I mean, men of his age, they are a little more awkward around women,
Yeah, he's very awkward in this movie. Yeah, we were saying he's neurodivergent, even.
Did it say that in the book? No, never mind. I did not. I was thinking of.
No, I'm saying that now.
Okay.
So is the cat real? We've already established the cat is real. At what point does Jong-su stop investigating and start fantasizing? I think we called it out in the plot description, but it's basically
when he starts writing.
Yeah, that's true. Is he trying to solve a mystery or justify his own anger? I think that's a good question, because at the end of the day, this could just be a class story where his dad was a poor, angry farmer, and he's just a poor, angry writer, and he just killed some rich guy out of perceived, wrongdoing. right? That could be one reading of this.
Yeah,
you could leave this movie, and that's a valid, I think, reading.
It could be like that's what I think. This is what, because you can view this movie a lot of different ways. Like, is it because he was in love with Amy that all this happened? Is it because he has his own anger?
Well, even then, you could just be like, his love is so like in the movie anyway. It's so shallow. He has one date with her.
Yeah, and they sleep together once. But I mean, if you're a broke boy who's never had sex and never had a girlfriend, and you do have have that experience, you probably are going to fall in love. I don't know how old he's supposed to be in the movie, but I assume they're all like early 20s, 22, 23, something like that.
Yeah, like, not 30, maybe late 20s, I would think.
Yeah, something.
Maybe early. I don't know anymore. Mid 20s, we'll stick there.
Yeah.
Do you read the ending as justice, delusion, or tragedy, Joey?
Tragedy, probably, or delusion. I don't know. I'm going to assume that he didn't really kill him, that it's just the writing. And I think it is him just writing it because he was so incapable of actually taking action in his life, of, even from the beginning, of stopping her from getting the ride home from him, of, being able to take that job. Because he just shows up that's a weird scene. He shows up that one job and he just walks away when they ask him like if he can work nights and weekends. Like, he doesn't want to commit to anything. He just wants to still be on the farm, but he doesn't want to be on the farm. He can't even just ask Ben questions about Amy more so. Just like, where is she? And it's like, like Ben is taunting him most of the time, and he just takes it. So I think it's him just finally writing out a fantasy of action.
You don't think he actually kills Ben?
I don't. I did at first. Second viewing, I don't.
Yeah, I mean, I'd have to rewatch it, but it is an interesting take where, it just drifts off into dream logic, right? Like,
yeah.
Why doesn't anyone immediately catch him? I guess we don't really get to that part, do we? But
no,
it just kind of ends. But
yeah, because the book
Joey,
just ends. It doesn't have that whole extracurricular part after, that does not exist in the short story.
If you had to explain this movie to someone in one sentence, what would you say?
In one sentence? Jesus, come on, dude. I don't know. The truth is not always what we believe it is, maybe? That sounds not right either. I mean, the tagline is pretty good.
How about, how would you sell this to somebody in one sentence? If you're like, I want you to watch this.
A mystery, or let's see, a mystery starring Steven Yeun in a possible love triangle. I don't know. I'm not. How would you sell it, Ben? God damn it.
Mine's not much better. I would say it's kind of like Spore Loose. I brought up Spore Loose this week, also known as The Vanishing, from whatever year that's from. It's a French Danish movie, something like that.
Dutch, I thought.
Did you read anything about that? Did you just, from what I told you?
Yeah, I read about it, and I attempted to start watching it, but I got caught up with stuff, and I couldn't.
That's okay. I watched like half of it again, and that's what this reminded me of, because that movie is all, The Vanishing. It's all about this French guy who's on vacation with his wife, and they get into a fight, and then they make up, and they're at this gas station. She goes to get some like soda, but she never comes back. And, it's basically him trying to figure out what happened, and I won't get into it. Everyone should watch The Vanishing, but when I watched this movie, that's the only thing I thought of was Spore Loose. I was like, oh, it's like that movie.
Yeah.
Also a good movie. I think they're equally both good, but yeah, the absence, loss, and like trying to understand it. What is the most uncomfortable moment in the film for you?
Besides him jacking off in the bed by himself, at her apartment. I mean, probably the scene where Steven Yeun or Ben, played by Steven Yeun, is talking about the greenhouses. And it's like, him, if you believe that he killed her, him telling her he's going to do it,
Mm-hmm.
Because I don't know if he ever said, but no greenhouse ever actually got burnt down in his area.
No.
And he even showed him a map or whatever, I think, or told him about it. And he was like, no, it was much closer than that. You missed it.
That was the opening quote. Yeah, sometimes you can't see things that are too close when he interrogates him afterwards. And it's like, yeah, it's implied that Hae-mi was the greenhouse he was talking about. And yeah, I don't know. It's interesting because he describes it as like, you even go back, it's chilling because he describes them as like, they're dilapidated. They want me to burn them down.
Yeah. And if you look at, she's obviously in not a good spot. She, through exposition of other characters, we learn she has a lot of debt. She doesn't have any money saved up. She's estranged from her family. She has no friends. The one person that she cared for, he got in between them,
It's sad ending. And I guess for me, the most uncomfortable moment is that ending where he stabs Ben. I think it's very raw and emotional and scary. It reminds me of a scene from Sam Raimi's most recent movie I just watched last night, Send Help.
Well, at the very end there, as Ben is dying, he almost looks like a little bit of joy or relief or happiness is on his face. Ben?
Maybe.
I don't know.
Man, I think that's it. I think we covered everything.
Yeah, I mean...
Is there anything else to say about the Beoning 2018?
The Beoning?
The other one written by... This one wasn't written by Harvey Weinstein, no.
Yeah, Beoning 2018, no, I don't. I think we've
covered everything, Dan.
Mostly, we kind of jumped around a lot. There's so much, and that's kind of what like watching this movie is like too. You have to put it together in and out of context and certain things, and it comes back to like, oh, there's the watch, and there's this, and like, why are they doing the payoffs?
Go ahead and read for me that first Letterboxd review if you can, Joey.
Okay, hold on.
Let's hear from the Peanut Gallery.
What page is it on?
Yeah.
Oh, I found
it's on page. Okay, I highlighted it.
Yeah, I got you now. Hae-mi flashes North Korea by user Bethany Pånes on July 16th, 2019.
I love that one. Yeah, Hae-mi flashes North Korea. This next one's a little more serious. I'm going to roll through it. User Tay, October 26, 2018. I think Lee Chang-dong put it best himself when he described Jong-su as a Faulkner character living in a Murakami world. He was shorthanding to say the quiet, growing rage inside of Jong-su is an anger once suited for a simpler world, where things that looked like reasons or answers were more readily available. The postmodern world that we find ourselves in now does not offer the same solace. There's an oversaturation of ambiguity, and searching for meaning only leads closer to... Beoning is about present absences, misremembered and fabricated memories, strange realities mixed up with almost realized fantasies. Surely, too, it is one of the most beautiful films to look at, navigating between a fast-paced metropolis and a lonely countryside. The three leads have a dangerous chemistry, making for a more complicated dynamic than a typical love triangle. They're still a triangle, but one that isn't so neat as she wants him, he wants her. This is about a craving for pleasure and reason beyond any single body. It's about satiating an inexplicable, unnameable hunger, and fires that must be burned in order to survive the pain of an ordinary life. Part of me wants to sit longer, to think about what happened and what didn't happen. Part of me wants to know this or that did or didn't happen, but I already know it's not there. It never was. There never was going to be any consolation for my uncertainties. The mundane announces itself as both beautiful and full of sorrow. The duality is there in Hae-mi and Jong-su's first kiss, when Jong-su sells his cow, when the landscape reveals itself to go on forever, rolling blue and green, when the sky fades from light to dark, when the ember of shared cigarette at last goes out. It's all there, just right there, and it's gone, before you can even grasp even an impression of it. All right, Joey, would you recommend The Beoning? Would you recommend Beoning from 2018?
I would recommend The Beoning, and I would recommend Beoning as well. Yeah, I mean, this is, again, I think this is probably the most succinct way to describe this podcast and the movies watched on this podcast is it's not for everyone. This is a little art house vibe to it. I don't think it's pretentious, though. I think it does a very good job of painting a visual landscape. There's not a lot of noise. It's a good mystery, too. I think it has value on a rewatch. Now, I gave it like 4 stars, my ratings. And 4 stars is good. It's always a classic film, I think, almost. But, 5 is something I usually reserve for like my favorite of things. And it's not my favorite of his movies. It may be a tad long, but I think there's depth to it, and I believe it's one of those movies you can get something out of for quite a few watches. And it also is, built on a book, so you can go down a short story, so you can go down that road and read. There's layers to it. And I just think it's really interesting because you can change your mind as to what happened and what hasn't happened, and they can tell the same story regardless, and they can tell different stories at the same time. It's very well done. So yeah, if you like Asian cinema at all, if you like depressing stuff, if you like mystery and enigma, if you like Stephen Yeun, I'd say check it out.
And what else is similar, Joey? What would be similar to Beoning if people liked it, wanted to check out something kind of like it?
Well, I would definitely, of Lee Chang-dong's movies, this one, I don't know if it's the most different. I haven't seen Oasis, but they're all pretty tragic stories. And they all have a bit of mystery to unravel as well. I would suggest any of his Secret Sunshine might be the most accessible for most people. Then Poetry, Peppermint Candy was not as good as those, or his Greenfish. He's become more refined. I really want to see his other stuff. If you like this, then again, there's also a guy, I guess I had mentioned earlier, Hong Sang-soo, another South Korean guy. Like we said, the lawyer from this movie is in the movie On the Beach at Night Alone from 2017. I would recommend that to start out with him, maybe. He's definitely going to be boring for some, but that's a good movie all around. Then, of course, we could always go over to Japan and also kind of tragedy, slice of life master Hirokazu Koreeda. His movies, Monster, Shoplifters, Nobody Knows, Broker, Still Walking, Afterlife, Like Father, Like Son, After the Storm, Air Doll. I mean, he's got a ton of really good stuff. So those are, if you like depressing shit based in Asia, those are your guys, I think. Those are some good recommendations.
Thank you, Joey. And Adam, what about you?
I also want to just note, he drop kicks Michael Myers out of a window.
Thank you. I recommend this movie. It's Dan, me here at the danandadamareafraid podcast. I give this movie a heart. I would rewatch it again right now. It's one you would rewatch over at least a couple of times to kind of pull meaning from it. I enjoyed watching it. It was not a chore to watch. And if I had to recommend something similar to it, check out Parasite, folks, from 2019.
Oh God, Book 2.
You better start talking.
And next week, Joey, I have a movie that we're going to watch on the show. Next week, we're going to be watching 2001's Larry Clark directed movie, Bully. It's a crime drama film surrounding the 1993 murder of Bobby Kent. I don't know anything about Bully, Joey. You've seen this one?
I have seen it multiple times. It was one of those movies like Freeway that was on HBO a lot back in the day. That you kind of, at first didn't never see the full thing because you were turning it on and then holy shit, this is fucked up. I want to see the whole thing. Yeah, I also read the book because it's based off a true story.
Oh, wow. That's crazy. I didn't know that until just now. But yes, it will be our 2001 Valentine's Day Bully special. We'll be joined by some special guests. Joey, are you going to try to make this one, or are you going to take the week off?
I'm going to try to. Who knows? Something might come up, but I'd like to. I know you got a full roster anyway, so if I don't, you'll be in good hands. Yeah. But this is a really neat movie for sure.
Joey might be there, but I think we're going to be joined by MJ, Big Boss. Maybe we'll have some Tyler action, but expect it to be a lovely Valentine's Day special. And Joey, I want to thank you for joining this podcast today and co-hosting the show with me today while Adams got hit by the train.
What can I say? I put the team on my back.
I really appreciate it. Thanks, man. Where can people find you?
Letterboxd, Joey from KY, all together. That's the only place.
And you'll see that in the description. And like everything else, give us a follow, etc. I did the whole spiel at the beginning. Like the podcast and leave a review. We'll read it on the show. And that's really it. This has been our longest podcast ever. Unsurprisingly, this was highly researched. This is the best burning podcast on the internet. Give us some credit.
Yeah, I invested my life in this podcast.
You know how much effort we put into this? Like a whole week.
I went to Korea to teach just for this podcast.
Just for this podcast. Oh, God. Well, with that, I'll say that's our show. Good night, everybody.
Bye-bye.
Yo, we from the planet Jazz. We're here to take over your honky asses, including you, host of the show.
Jazz alien Quado Mono invented the Big Five sound.
Yo, we're taking you to hell. You could be in hell, bitch.
White monkey. I was just like, ooh, this is rated R, and there's sexy stuff in it.